tech guy here, letting you know that if you would like to watch the video version of this podcast, you can head on over to Content Crusaders on YouTube. There will also be a link provided in the episode description.
All right, so we're going to be doing episode 4 of the podcast today. We got Bryce here,
What's
resident
up?
neighborhood street genius.
Yep.
And then we got Kris. He's here.
Yep.
I'm sure you already heard the tech guy, so I won't introduce him. And today we're going to be covering a show called Kamen Rider Gaim. Don't know anything about this.
I watched an episode.
Okay, Kris has seen an episode.
I've not seen anything like this.
Do you know what?
I mean, I've
Okay,
seen
you don't
things
know
that
what Kamen
kind of
Riders
look
are.
like this, but not this for sure.
I know what Kamen Rider is. I've only ever seen one episode of this one, and that's it.
Is this
Okay.
Is this like the third Power Rangers?
We'll get there.
I can already tell. Okay, wait. Before we start, I have a question that I've been thinking about
Yeah.
a long time. I've been looking at your little profile picture for about 3 weeks now. What is that?
I want you to take a gander.
I know. I think
and guess
is that
who might
Bowser?
have-
Is that Bowser's mouth or something? That looks like a
His
little
picture?
tiny Bowser head, and like the lips are just fucking huge.
So that is actually a picture put there by Jordan, and that is an entire dead chicken posing.
What the fuck?
It's defeathered, right?
You want to look at it?
Oh wow!
See that?
What? I can't. I don't even. I
It's a-
can't tell anything about that.
It's a
It
chicken
it just looks
body.
like,
It kind of looks like a tongue.
dude. Am I just being dumb? It literally just looks like similar colors just next to each other. That's all it looks like to me.
So ask Jordan. Jordan has the actual picture.
can you
Jordan,
like outline
Jordan is
it on
the other guy's
outline?
brother.
I need you to explain
Yeah,
to me
my
how this is
brother.
a dead
Okay,
chicken
so
body.
this is like the breast and like body. This is his little wing, like chicken wing here, and then he's got one down here.
Oh.
Then those are his like drum legs. You see it?
Yeah, kind of.
I-
but
it's
it's
like-
like,
it's like-
I've seen the picture.
It's
still-
laying on its side like this. You know?
okay, it's still like kind of barely looks like that, but I get what you're saying now. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This whole time, I thought like if you look at the small image, I thought on like the left was like Bowser's like top of his
Hair?
head, and then like
I mean,
the
I see
shit
it.
on the right was like his giant ass lips.
I thought it was like a fortune cookie. I think we should also mention, we didn't mention this time, this is our first time doing it in person.
Wait,
Yeah.
okay, but also I like how you didn't say it's like a raw chicken. You was like it's a dead chicken. So whenever I was looking at that, I expected like a full feathered like dead
Yeah,
chicken.
just shot and killed, and then they pose it
Yeah.
like they fucking. It's a taxidermy chicken.
Yeah, like,
Perfect.
okay, where's the white other than the stuff around it? Don't worry about it.
This is a thought process. Yeah.
All right.
No, I get that.
Okay, so back to the show. Okay, so we got. Okay, so Kamen Rider Gaim is a show made out of Japan. No shit.
Okay.
I'm sure you can tell with the Japanese letters right here. And
Zach.
Zach. We'll get to Zach. Okay, but yeah, so these are all the characters. These are what they look like in their writer forms. We'll come back to this picture routinely to remind you who's who, so there's no confusion. Now, one thing worth mentioning. What are y'all doing?
No, don't worry about it.
Okay, but yeah, so one thing worth mentioning is about half of these characters barely matter at all. So we'll like bring them up, but very briefly, these. I guess these 4 right here. These 4 in the front. If you don't remember who anyone else here is, remember these 4. I'll show their pictures of them outside of the forums also, and I'll make sure to stress who these people are.
Can we like? Can Kris and I take turns like trying to pronounce their names and just say who they are?
Well,
Yeah.
I can
Feel free.
pronounce their names.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you could put some spins on it though, because we're not for
Oh. Okay. Meek. He.
I was thinking Mitchie.
Okay. All right.
That's what
You're
I was
just going to
thinking, too.
pronounce it the correct way.
That's not how you pronounce it.
I was about to say there's no way it's pronounced Mitchie.
It's definitely not Mitchie.
Is it Michi?
Mick H-E.
Mikey? I don't think it's Mikey.
I'm pretty sure Mitchie was closer than Mikey.
Yeah, it's probably a me. Like Mikchi.
Okay, when
it's just Michi.
those two characters at the top,
These two?
I'm gonna say Hyde and Haste, which probably aren't how you pronounce, probably not how they're pronounced. But
And Hase.
the combination of those two characters makes me think of Tokyo Ghoul. You know what I'm talking about?
A little bit.
It's
I
what's
know
it,
what you're talking
Hide and Heisei or whatever?
Yeah,
they
it's
just-
Hide and Hase
Yeah.
here, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the boys.
The homies. Okay, so briefly, what this is about. So we're going to talk about Kamen Rider in general. Kamen Rider is a series that's released every single year. It is just like Super Sentai, which, as you brought up, is just what Power Rangers is called in Japan. It is not the same thing because it's targeted towards an older audience. Now, and as opposed to Power Rangers, where there's almost always 5 of them, in this case, there's going to usually be a little more or a little less. There's either going to be like 3 or like 10.
So
something like that.
Is the rule that there's just never 5?
I mean, there are sometimes just 5. That's happened.
I figured.
But yeah, the numbers are like very varied as opposed to Super Sentai, which usually just has 5. And then maybe like 1 or 2 revealed later in the show. Kind of like the show called Deca Ranger, where there's 5 normal people. And then they have a captain who's a giant wolf man who turns into one later named Doggy Kruger.
So it's called Deca Ranger, but they didn't go by like the. Oh wait, decahedron. How much is a decahedron? That's not 6.
I believe that is 10.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
I was gonna
I was
say-
thinking it's 10. I'm like, but they got 6.
More than 2 for sure.
It's
Well,
more
yeah.
than 2.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. That's why he's the smartest.
Yep.
Okay, now it has it does feel kind of like Power Rangers sometimes, and other times it feels not like that. And we'll talk about times like that. Now, it like I said, it's targeted towards an age group probably about up from Super Sentai. Super Sentai is probably more like 12 and under, and this is probably more like 12 to 17, somewhere in there. The show's been going on for a while. I'm going to guess around 40 years. There's some years where they took breaks. I don't know there's years that they also didn't, obviously. I don't think they've taken a break since 2000. I don't believe that's happened, but I think that they did at one point. That's why it's closer to 40 years, even though there's not quite 40 shows. This is going to be the 24th one they made, I believe. And this is the, I want to say 15th in the new section of shows, which is called the Heisei era, which I'll bring up why that matters at a different time. What you need to know is that they used to not have a bunch of different transformations they could do. And in this portion of the series, they can. Now, this show is incredibly popular in Japanese pop culture. The 2 most common examples of it that you probably know about, that you probably don't even know was a reference to this, the Great Saiyaman from Dragon Ball Z, is just a long-winded reference to Kamen Rider. And his main technique he uses in that form when he does that, the like kick that he does with Videl is just a rider kick, which is usually the main finishing move Kamen Riders use. Also, the other big one is Mooman Rider from One Punch Man, who is a gag of if Kamen Rider showed up and failed every time, which is kind of a joke because of the fact that Kamen Riders typically get either their ass beat to death or they do some crazy shit and blow up half the city and kill the villain. So
Nice.
that's the rough gist of
I mean, that sounds pretty entertaining.
Yeah, you're doing it cleanly.
Yeah, and then they all have a motorcycle, hence the fact that they're called riders. And their motorcycles are all very different. There's one key example where they have a vehicle that's like just a car instead called Kamen Rider Drive. And it's literally named after the fact that he doesn't ride a motorcycle. That's how uncommon it is. Also, another big thing about them is, I guess like the way I would put it is, they have the ability to like transform using a belt. Now, some of them kind of don't need to do that sometimes, but for the most part, the rule is if they don't have their belt on, they can't transform. In this show in particular, you won't need to worry about anyone doing that without having a belt on, other than one time right at the end. So, well, actually, that's literally untrue. Scratch that. Okay. Also, these shows are pretty cheesy sometimes and have weird anime bullshit happening all the time, but there's a lot of times where like most of the time they're not like that, but all of a sudden, then they'll just cut to the World Cup celebration episode, which I'll talk about when we get there, because it is in this show where they celebrate the World Cup in just the middle of the show.
Okay.
And it doesn't make any sense at the time it happens. I just want to stress that it happens,
Like
because it's crazy.
our World Cup?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You mean like
I mean, it happens in the year that our World Cup happens.
like
the real
soccer?
World. That's why they
Yeah.
celebrated it in
Okay.
the show. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So real quick, I want to get into all the characters present here. So these are the characters if you kind of need to know.
Wait, this
Okay.
is live action?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
I should have mentioned that. This is a live action series. This is it's technically a J drama kind of thing, but the characters you need to know, like I said, there's 4 in particular. This little diamond here, if you don't remember anyone else, remember these 4. Okay, they're very important. This is the main character. He is going to be the orange guy right here. You got Michi, who is going to be this green one.
damn! It was Michi.
Yeah, the white one right here.
But that's white.
Yeah, he's mostly white. It's hard to tell here. I know.
Fucking green.
And he's Tora is going to be him. Tora and Michi are siblings. Michi is his younger brother. I almost said sister. Holy shit. And then we have Kaito, which is this like reddish, white, yellowish one. Is right here. Now, we'll get to why these people are in like costumes that match and shit in a second. But Ryoma here is a scientist. We're going to talk about him. Hide and Hase briefly keep in the back of your mind, but for the most part, you just need to know that these are like rivals of the main characters to an extent. Zack works under Kaito. Mai is so in every single Kamen Rider show, they just have this like relatively attractive chick who's just in the show. She's this show's one. She's actually important though, in like every other one, basically. So I'll talk about why. This is the leader of Team Gaim. I'll get into that. This is DJ Sagura.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking. This character seems like this like side gag character. Not really. We'll talk a lot about DJ Sagura because he's a weird one. This is Alfonso.
Oh, I know Alfonso.
We'll talk about Alfonso.
I've seen stuff about him.
This is Sid. He is a lock dealer.
Like
okay.
locks.
He deals locks.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
you know what he's got a trade and he's found it. He knows what he's doing.
And then this is Minato. We will not talk about her until almost halfway through. Okay. Now
I have a question. So is this like one season or is this like a
50
culmination?
It's
of everything?
47 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is like one of the
Yeah.
the
And
series within like the
they're-
how many?
Yeah. And they are contained in the same universe. Bullshit. You're telling. We'll get to why that doesn't make any sense later. There's no way this is contained in the same universe as the others, and that's true for many of the others as well. That doesn't literally make any sense. We're gonna start with a little speech that's given at the very start of the show by, I believe, DJ Sagura. So here we go. Pluck the fruit of the heaven, that the world may be dyed in your image. Is that the glory you seek? By the way, all this will make sense by the time we're done with the show. Is that a burden you can bear? Know this, the lives of men are not ours to control, not even your own. We cannot deny the inexorable current of fate that carries us. But what if fate itself were to call upon you? To change our world, to turn the course of the future, you cannot deny your fate. By the way, we're going to do Bryce Chimes In already. Let's go. Whoa. Bryce, we're going to call back to episode 2 already. What's your favorite fruit?
My favorite fruit? Probably watermelon. I mean, I feel like there's a very wide range of watermelon you can get. Like,
there's some doo-doo ass watermelon.
I know. Okay, some of them can be really gritty and they just suck so bad. But if you get one that's like
watery,
yeah, I mean they're all fucking watery, but like not like firm, but like there's It's just got
Good.
some firmness to it,
Talk
you
about
know?
your favorite ways to eat a watermelon.
With my mouth.
Okay.
Okay, I know some people like to eat watermelon with salt. I'm sorry,
I've
guys.
tried it. It's weird.
It's that's not the way. That is not the
I
way.
figured we could go into a little story there, but I guess you're denying it.
I mean,
That's for another day.
Okay.
well,
Okay.
I just eat it. I don't. You need utensils. You just dig into that
Why
shit.
are they called water?
What the fuck do you mean?
They're filled with
They're-
fucking water.
yeah.
What do you mean?
There's a lot of water
There's
in
a
a
lot
watermelon.
of water in a watermelon.
Why don't you look up right now percentage of water in a watermelon?
Right, you're gonna look up.
Come
you're
on,
gonna-
you're just like, I don't want.
Okay. So, by the way, brief disclaimer for what's going on when this speech is given. There's the main character, okay, this guy and this guy are both facing each other with armies of monsters behind them, okay? And then you have on a cliff, the two brothers, these two, are together on top of a cliff with another army ready to descend down the cliff, okay? And then you have Mai here, and her hair in this scene is down and it's yellow. I'll explain that later. And in that scene, she is like looking over the people and is like, okay, so there you
It
go.
sounds like she got her fruit plucked by heaven, and so her hair became gold.
we'll see. Okay, now we're gonna talk about this real quick. There are some monsters in this series called Inves, which stands for invasive species. Weird
Okay,
way to
yeah.
stand for that, but okay, this is what they look like.
Those
they're-
are invasive creatures, like right there.
Yeah, those things look like they're going to like be in your food
Is that
and
fuck-
get in your body.
That second
just
one?
take you over.
That second one looks like a fucking Dark Souls boss or something. But like,
Yeah.
okay, so that one's really weird. The second one's weird because he looks like he's fucking huge, but he also looks like he's really
He's
tiny.
small.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his picture is mad
Like,
scrunched.
I was about to say, I feel like if you saw that thing in real life, it'd be like 4 feet tall.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
They're like way bigger than people.
Okay,
as a
well,
frame of reference, they're like about like 6-7 feet tall. At,
well,
at
I'm
worst.
me and Bryce are about 6 feet tall.
I mean, we're taller than that.
Yeah, we're taller than that.
But yeah, they're bigger than most people. But yeah, okay. Now these things we'll talk about a lot. They're relatively important. Okay, so let's get into the main premise: rival dance crews. Now, the main thing that's going to be going on in this show is it's a battle between beefing dance crews trying to prove supremacy.
Is this like that one episode, like one of the starting episodes of Gintama, where like do you remember? Where,
I know what you're
I
talking about.
don't. Yeah, there's just some like dudes fighting, and they're just like two gangs, and they had different hairstyles, and they were just hating on each other's hairstyles, and they just fought, and whoever won had the better hair.
Yeah,
I mean, that sounds like a good way to deal with it, though.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like they don't agree in the show. So what we're going to talk about is they're all. So it starts off with Team Gaim. Actually, technically, it starts off with the main character walking up to a little kid in public who's lost his mom, and they walk around the street and they both yell, "Mom, Mom, where are you?" They find the mom, and the mom's like, "Oh, here you go, thank you," and she like gives the main character something for finding her son. Then you cut to Team Gaim. Okay. Yuya, the leader of Team Gaim, this guy for reference, is not there, but everyone except for him and Kota, the main character, are there. And they're dancing very poorly. There's a reason they don't actually dance very often in the show, because these people are not dancers. And even though that's the premise they picked for some reason. And they're all just dancing. And what's really strange about this is they show up this other team called Team Baron. That's the team Kaito is in charge of. And they're like, get off the stage. Because evidently there's one stage in the whole city to dance on. There's nowhere else to do it except for that one stage. So, also, by the way, this whole time that they're beefing with each other, DJ Sagra is watching from somewhere in like a studio, like, yo, yo, yo. And he's just like basically commentating this dance battle.
Isn't
Yeah, he
there
is.
a big like tree?
Yeah. But that's like a little bit into it. Okay.
And then there was a tree.
Yeah. So what happens? Okay. There is a big tower that looks like a tree. We'll also talk about that. But they're all
could it be called Tree Tower?
Maybe, bro. So what is basically going on is that they're going to play Pokemon, but really badly balanced to determine who is going to win the right to dance on the stage. So what happens is they have these locks. You open the lock. They don't lock, by the way. Like they do, but like they don't stay locked. You can just open them anytime. Terrible locks.
Is it like where only the lock user can open it? Or is it like
no,
anyone
like,
just...
Not at all. Anyone can just
It's like a Pokeball.
Yeah.
But it's all a lock.
Yeah, but it's a lock.
So
It
you
doesn't
unlock
lock.
it, and then like a ring of light appears. And then these guys, specifically these ones, pop out. Some are red, some are blue, some are green. Doesn't matter at all. They're all the same. And they come out and they just fist fight each other. But you have to be holding the lock for the monster to stay there. So what happens is the main character is coming there because he knows they're dancing and he's in the middle of his part-time job. One of many he's going to have in the story. And one of the other guys on Team Baron is like, ha ha, that bitch Mai has a lock in her hand. I'm going to shoot it out of her hand with a paper hornet. What? So he shoots her hand. She's like, ow. And she drops it. And then the little monster punches through the barrier and just starts attacking everyone. So all the crowd watching the dancing is like, whoa. And they're all running away now. And then Kota shows up because he's on like a buggy, like those pizza delivery buggy things you see in like anime. And he just slams full force into this thing and just flings it across the fucking area they're in. And he's like, I'm here. And they're like, okay, cool. And then he comes over and he just closes the lock and both monsters disappear. Oh, and then technically though, Team Baron won the battle. So they get the right to the stage and all the people that just ran away in terror return because obviously they want that to happen again. So they're back to watch more dance.
They're trying to watch them dance.
Yeah.
You're telling me all the main character did is
show up,
damage his company's property.
Yeah, he actually gets fired for that, I believe.
Okay, well, good.
What do you mean? Why would you imagine you're working and then you save the day and then your company fires you? That's
okay, these things look really stupid. I've seen the first episode. They look really dumb. I don't know. I just like they don't look that scary.
Yeah,
they're like tiny little things.
Yeah, those ones are really short.
Yeah, we already discussed that. The dude's fucking tiny.
Yeah, that one is really tiny.
I don't know. I'm just saying he closed the lock. I don't know why anyone else couldn't have done that. I also don't know why did everyone run if did they not know that was something they could do? Is that like something that's never happened before? Is that
from what it seems like this is a relatively new phenomenon.
Okay.
But yeah, they call this the Inves game.
Everyone's a little normalized to these
things
holograms.
I would assume everyone doesn't have a lock, so like they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Really,
also, they know they're not holograms. I mean, this is not the first time they've attacked people. Like, literally.
Can a hologram just beat the shit out of something? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's because it's not a hologram. Yeah. Okay. Now the main character goes home after this, and by the way, you find out that the main character has quit the dance crew. This happened prior to the show starting.
No.
And he goes home, and his sister is like, no, it's a good thing you're not in the dance crew anymore. You're an adult now. And you've come to find out. So the main character's parents died when he was a kid.
Classic.
And his sister's been raising him his entire life. And now he is going to work to pay off all of their rent because she did it his whole life.
Wait, okay, never mind.
So that's why he has all the part-time jobs and he's going to be a real adult now. But one day he has this whole speech in his bedroom for some reason where he says, but one day I'm going to transform into something special. Whatever that is.
You know what? I feel like every kid should say that to themselves.
That's the hallmark of someone who should not.
Full-grown adult.
Because if anything significant happens.
They're all like adults. I think they're at least 18, 19, maybe even 20.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't think it's the hallmark of an adult that says, one day I'm gonna
transform.
transform into something special. I mean, it's good to have aspirations.
I mean, you could say that, and then something really minor could happen, and then you could say you transformed, and then you get like a lot more gratification.
Yeah, you know,
for
like
that minor
born
thing,
again
you know?
Christians.
That's fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Now, so the next thing that kind of goes down is his friend Yuya, the leader of Team Gaim, texts him and he says, "Yo, Kota, I found this almost should be illegal blatant advantage we can have in the Invest game. Check this out." And he got a belt from the lock dealer, Sid. And Sid,
Wait, why the fuck is the lock dealer dealing belts?
we'll get there.
Does this belt have a lock on it?
It's going to.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
So the the belt looks like this, like it's like a square, and then you put it on and the belt just forms. And then on the belt you can put a lock in and then close the lock to lock it into the belt. And then the belt has a little sword on it, and you push the sword down and you cut the lock in half. And what happens is inside the lock is a type of fruit. And what happens is when you cut open the lock, a piece of fruit comes out in the shape of a weapon. What? So whenever the main character puts his belt on, he gets an orange slice sword.
What? Okay. So it's just like a normal belt, basically, with a lock on it, and then you cut the lock, and then you get your fruit weapon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of like a belt buckle that then becomes a belt, and then it's got a little place to attach it, and then you put the thing and you go.
And then the sword goes.
Yeah.
Or other deadly weapons of fruit.
So what happens is Yuya calls Kota and Mai to come see what's going on with this belt because they don't know it does that yet. He comes over and the paper. He comes over and he's like, "Where is he?" And then Mai shows up. He's like, "I don't know where Yuya went." So then there's just this giant zipper open, and it opens up to a forest. Now they go into the forest and they're like, "Whoa, dude," because it's like really, really fucking blurry in the forest, dude. Like terrible cinematography sometimes in the forest. But what's going on is there's these like vines all over the place with these purple fruits, and if you take them off the tree, they turn into the locks. What's important to know about the purple fruits is that humans who see them a couple times get possessed to eat them. There's a lot of scenes that doesn't happen at all for some reason. Definitely just plot convenience, but when you see the fruit, you get like possessed to eat them. So the main character is about to eat one, and then Mai's like, "Whoa, monster!" So then the monster is coming to attack them, and the monsters that live there are these things. So basically the locks summon these things from there, and that's how they've been summoning them to fight each other. Now, he has to fight one of these that looks like this and is much bigger and stronger than the ones they fight with. And so he puts on the belt because he remembers you just saying it was like going to help with the Invest game. And then he puts the lock in because the belt like says to, like the belt like yells out something to the effect of put the fucking lock in the belt. And then whenever that happens, it does this. Press B.
Lock on.
And then while this is playing, a giant metal orange falls from the sky, covers his head, and then it like flings itself down, and the giant metal orange like flips inside out and becomes his armor.
What the fuck?
Okay, so like
That's pretty cool.
So that's why this orange part on his skin, on his like armor, is the giant orange flipped inside out. Okay. And that's true for all of these characters. It's like just giant fruits flipped inside out.
Dude,
So the lock dealer got his own lock?
Does the lock dealer have his own lock? He
Yeah.
does. He does have his own lock.
I mean, one would assume the holder of the locks has
Probably has a lock, yeah. But
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes, he kind of beats the living shit out of this thing after he puts the lock on. It's a little more than that, but like for what we need to know.
Wait, so how does he beat it? You said he just got armor.
Well, he also got the orange slice sword. Yeah, because his main one is orange. Now,
I have a question.
yeah.
Why do they call them the invasive species if like they just kind of exist in that world?
We'll get there.
I was about to say, I mean, they're kind of invading their world.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, so they go in, they manage to get back out, they fight this thing, and while he's fighting it, Mai shows up again with the yellow hair. Now, she's yellow, she has yellow hair, and one of her eyes is black, one of them's red. Weird anime shit. But she comes up to him and she basically is just telling him, if you continue to use the belt, you gotta go all the way, bro. And he's like, the fuck does that mean? And then she's like, are you gonna do it? And he's like, well, like you currently or whatever's going on is gonna fucking die if I don't, so sure. He keeps using the belt, which sets in motion the entire rest of the story because he chose to do that. Now, that's pretty much it for this episode. So the next episode, Kota's like, yo, I've transformed. I was right. So the whole time he's just like swagging, popping off. He goes back to the dance crew. He's like, yo, I'm in again. I'm back. And they're like, what? He's like, well, if we just never lose the Inves game because I'm here, we can just fucking make money off that. And they somehow, I don't even know how this is explained, they start making money off the dance crew battles thing. This is not touched on almost at all. But there's a scene where he comes home and gives his sister the money he won from it. And she's like, that's fake money. Just typical bitch adult shit. And then,
how does she know?
Well, he said it.
Oh.
It's also like very public knowledge. We'll talk about how well known these dance crews are in a minute. But in this city, which Zawame City, that's like the main pastime.
Okay.
Despite that there's one dance stage in the whole city. Okay, so now
That is some anime shit.
That's
actually more like a video game. Like I'm imagining like everyone in town being like, time to go to the dance stage.
so everyone in the entire like beef squadron is
You're talking about in the crew?
yeah.
Okay.
He's like sitting there dancing. Like, yeah. By the way, you almost never see Kota dance ever, if ever. I don't think he really does. But
well, he's out there winning.
yeah,
so
he's out there winning the fights. He doesn't need.
it.
So they show up. This team called Ride Wild and this other team. I don't fucking remember what they're called. It's not important. Hase is in charge of Ride Wild, and Hide is in charge of the other one. Those are the ranked 3 and 4 teams. By the way, there is a ranking system.
Okay.
They show up and they get their ass whooped, and then Kaito shows up. By the way, Kaito's group is like based in Tokyo Tower. It's what it seems like. There's just this ginormous tower looking place that looks like Tokyo Tower to me, where Kaito and his group just live in. Like they're always there, just scheming and shit. It's weird. And Kaito is like, I'm gonna step in, and he goes and gets his ass whooped. Obviously, like, there's really nothing he can do about the orange sword. And then a monster comes out because Kaito's being a bitch head. And then whenever the monster comes out, Kaito's lost the fight, and Kaito believes power is everything. And we'll talk about how insanely, literally he means that later. But since he lost, he respects Kota now. So he gives him another lock, which is a pineapple. And the pineapple, when he puts it on, gives him a giant fucking chain, like a flail, just with a pineapple on the end.
That's a cool ass.
Yeah.
And he can fling it around and just
That's
hit
pretty
people
cool.
with it. It's fucking weird, bro.
I love it because like this isn't something Bryce knows, but from just seeing a little bit of these kind of shows, like the weapons and all that are like so big and like fake. You know, like I imagine the pineapple to be this giant like plastic thing that looks like it could probably not hurt you.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a good weapon.
Then it hits you.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, it
fucking
just explodes.
so loud. Dude, I want to say something about what you just said in a second. Okay, so the next episode, Kaito comes up to the lock dealer, who, by the way, just lives in this like fruit parfait shop. The fruit parfait shop is the most common location in the show by far. I don't understand why. I guess it's because they make fruit parfaits. The fruit parfait shop owner, by the way, is just this weird dude who lives there and just gives philosophical advice to children who aren't even children. They just look like children. They're actually adults, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So Kaito is like, I have a belt now too, because Sid gave him a belt also, and his is a banana. He puts the banana on, then he looks like this. And he has a banana lance. It looks like a peeled back banana, but it's a lance.
Oh, dude, I fucking like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And he uses the lance to fight.
Definitely my favorite one so far.
Yeah, he uses that to fight Kota, and they fight to like a standstill. And then Sid shows up in the dance crew, and DJ Sakura's like, whoa, what's going to happen here? And then they're like, by the way, he's in it a lot. He talks a lot.
I mean, he seems like he has a very good role already.
Yeah. And then they're all sitting there like, who is that? Because Sid just shows up, and most people don't know who the lock dealer is, except for like the leaders of the groups. So when this is happening, he's like, hey, I have these two special locks. He gives them to them, and they summon bikes. We gotta have the bikes. That's like the whole thing. Okay, so then they're riding.
Are they fruit bikes?
They're plant bikes. One is a Sakura pedal bike, and one's a Rose bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep them with the fruits.
Yeah. So we'll talk about how weird that fruit thing is later. Okay. So then they're going and okay, they're fighting each other on the bikes, and they teleport into the forest dimension because their bikes were going too fast, which evidently makes them immediately transport to the forest. Now they're in the forest. Okay. Kaito transforms out, and he's like, where the fuck are we? And Kota's like, I mean, I was here earlier, but I don't really know. And they're just looking around, and he's like, fuck, I'm gonna look around. This is kind of crazy. And then Kota is just like, he's kind of sussed out, and then he looks over, and there's just a fucking another rider there, but he's white. He's in mostly white, but a little green, and he has a melon shield. It's just like a big green melon, but it's a shield. And that's this guy right here, Tora, which is Michi's older brother. By the way, Michi is in Team Gaim. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. He's like his main character's best friend. By the way, the main character does not really care much about Mai. They're just friends, but Michi is DTF with that chick. That's all I'm saying. Now, Kota is like, who could that guy be? And that guy beats him within an inch of his life.
With his shield?
Yeah. Like,
goddamn,
beats
Captain
the
America,
living.
Captain Melon.
Beats him nearly to death. And Kota barely gets out alive. And then the next day, a monster starts attacking, and they're like, whoa, what are we going to do? Let's call Kota. And he's sitting in his room with the belt inside of his desk. And he's like, no, hell to fuck to the no. I'm not going to fight people anymore. And they're like, why? And they're like, dude, this dude just showed up and nearly killed me. No, y'all can fuck off. And so Michi is like, well, that's not going to do. Mai was really happy when we were winning. We got to start winning again. So Michi goes to the lock dealer because he's aware that the lock dealer is where Kota got his belt from. And when he goes to the lock dealer's like, sorry, bro. I know that you're Tora's younger brother. I'm not giving a belt to his younger brother. And he's like, so you know about my family, right? And he's like, yeah. And he says, look here, you motherfucker. I fucking promise you that if you betray me and don't do what I say, you're going to fucking regret it. If you're scared of my brother, you should be fucking terrified of me. And he's like, oh, whoa. And he's like, you know what? I kind of like you, fella. And so he's like,
fuck yeah, he does.
Thank you for threatening me.
And he's like, how about this, brother? I'm going to forget a belt right here on this chair I'm sitting in. It's actually like a bench.
Why does he even have to say that? Like, why can't he just be like, here's a belt? It's not like anyone is like.
We'll talk about why. But,
Okay, so
he-
there's a reason.
Okay, so the part of the reason is the company his brother works for is called Yggdrasil Corporation,
Oh, that's why the tree. Okay.
and Yggdrasil Corporation, that's what the world tree from Norse mythology is called. And the Yggdrasil Corporation there's D&D department is run by Michi's older brother Tora, and Michi's older brother
R&D.
R&D. No, Dungeons and Dragons. Tora runs that shit.
You mean R&D?
I mean, they just call them the research department.
Well, you said D&D.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
I was
said
like the D&D
I mean,
department. I'm like, okay.
He's the DM.
I tried to think about
He's really
what that
good.
was, and then I'm like, okay, there's no way that's actually.
He's
right.
old school, so he plays with 3E. But
yeah. So he runs the research group.
Okay, who does?
Michi's older brother Tora, the guy with the white Kamen Rider who almost beat the main character to death. He, by the way, Michi has no idea that's him at all, but he'll find out eventually. The thing with this is Michi goes to like a really good college, but he fucking hates college, and his brother is like really pressuring him to finish so he can take over his job eventually. Now, what's unfortunate about this is Michi choosing to do it like he did ends up being very bad, but we'll get to why. But the reason why he had him give him the belt like that, is because there's fucking cameras all over the goddamn city owned by Yggdrasil Corporation.
What?
They run everything in the city ties back to them. Everything.
okay.
The city is extremely dependent on this company. Now, one thing that's fucking crazy that happens around here is Michi's like, yo, I'm the GOAT, because he puts on the belt and his is a grape. So a giant bunch, like a bundle of grapes, appears above him. And it turns him into, his actually has a name that they use more often than the others. They call him Kamen Rider Ryugen because they're trying to keep his name a secret so his brother doesn't know. But actually, they don't know that that's why they call him that, but they call him that. And he's this one right here, and he has a fucking gun that shoots grapes out.
That one sounds a lot more useful than the lance. I like the lance the most, but that one's pretty useful.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have a
that is
great
pretty
gun.
useful.
I mean, it just really depends on like the velocity because it could
Yeah.
like shoot out really slowly.
So now we get to the so Baron shows up again. Kaito does, and he's like, "I'm here to beat y'all's ass because Kota's not here, so I know I can." Okay, so he starts just whooping the shit out of Michi because he summons two little monsters and is also fighting him with his lance. Kota shows up and is like, "Bro, not Michi." So he actually uses the belt again just to save him. Because he had given it back to Mai in the last episode and had her put it in a locker in their run-down garage they practice in, and he gets it back. And Michi had stolen a strawberry lock from Kaito, and he puts the strawberry in the belt, and it gives him throwing knives. Let me go ahead and say something about these throwing knives real quick. So what that means is he chucks this knife at something, and if it hits it, it causes a fucking dynamite level explosion every time.
What?
I know. Like, so he literally goes, "Oh, sick, throwing knives." Then he throws it, and it causes a ginormous explosion. And then Kaito's like, "Whoa, what the fuck was that?"
That's
and
why
then,
you should be afraid of him. What
You
the
said
fuck?
that's Michi who's throwing them, right?
No, it's Kota. Kota's doing that.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Not Michi. And then Kota is like, "I have an idea." So he summons a portal in the sky that starts raining down explosive throwing knives.
What?
Oh.
That's an awful thing to
I
do.
mean, I mean,
It's gonna work.
He has a plan. He has a plan. He knows
And
what he's doing.
he fucks up Kaito and the monsters. And then Michi's like, "Oh, you're still getting away." So he pulls out the fucking gun and he shoots a entire bunch of grapes at him at once. And they call this grape squash. That's what the attack's called. The lamest name you can imagine.
That's an awful name.
Yeah, and then right when this all's coming to a head, Hide and Hase show up to assist Kaito because they had made an alliance with him, and they put on their own belts. And this is where something kind of weird happens. Their belts are a pine cone and an acorn. So let's go ahead and go back to the fruit block thing for a second. So the pine cone guy is is right here, and then this is the acorn guy. Or no, actually swap it.
I was about to say that guy
The
on the left
acorn
looks like
guy-
an acorn.
The acorn guy has a hammer, which is just a stick with an acorn on the end. And then the other guy is a pine cone, but he just has like a stick with a pine cone cut in half on the end, and coming out of the end of the pine cone is just a fucking spearhead. Now, the thing that's crazy about these two is they show up and they're like, haha, it's time. So what happens next is they decide to do the smart thing and just, oh, by the way, we're going to call this like, I fucking hate Alfonso, because I fucking do. We'll get to Alfonso next episode, but they just start attacking Kaito, and Kaito's like, why? So now that they're beating up Kaito, the other two, Michi and Kota, are like, well, let's beat them up. That's kind of fucked up they did that. So they just beat them up, and then they're like, whoa, why did we lose? And I'm like, because you're dumbasses. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. The thing that happens next is Michi is at his house after they leave all this. And there's this fifth dance crew with this like really weird looking guy who's like, because he's all excited he got the belt, and then he runs off with the belt. By the way, there's only 6 belts that they're giving out to people, and this guy's like, yo, and he's about to use the belt, and Alfonso finds him.
Wait, which one's Alfonso? Can you show me a picture of Alfonso?
Alfonso is the feminine male right here, who I believe is supposed to be Italian, even though this is clearly just a Japanese guy. But yeah, that's Alfonso, and he is a patissier, which is a Italian dessert maker. He owns I don't know what they call the restaurants, but he owns I think a patisserie or a patisserie or something like that.
Place that serves things that he
Or
makes.
desserts.
Italian desserts, yeah. And while that shit is going down, they're like just chilling, and Michi goes home, and Tora is like, starts saying shit about the locks, and he's like, yeah, don't fucking mess with people that use those. And he's like, oh yeah, I don't. I just go to school, you know, I wouldn't associate with those people, which is obviously a lie. And then Michi goes up to his room. While that's happening, Michi realizes, because he overhears his brother talking about something, that his brother probably is the person who beat up Kota, but he doesn't want to tell Kota yet. We'll get there. Then, while that's happening, they start, Hase and Hide call out Kota, and they're like, let's fight. So they go out to the middle of nowhere.
Again?
And they're going to fight. But also, earlier today, we'll talk about that in a second. Earlier in the day, Kota had tried to get a new part-time job at the patisserie or whatever. And he got fired on his starting day by Alfonso. And then Alfonso shows up and is like, ha, and has a belt now. This is because Alfonso found the dude with the belt and beat the living shit out of him because he was being rude, and just took it. And then for some reason decided to come fight dance crews for some reason. And then once he's there, he beats them all up, and DJ Sagra, by the way, he turns into a durian. It's this guy right here. And durians are nasty, bro. They're like really bad, gross smelling fruit. And he has like 2 like swords that are like spiky. And he like destroys all of them by himself. I have no idea why this character is so broken. He's very, very strong for some reason. And the main character is like, oh, fuck. And then this character, who's not even in a dance crew, ascends to the top of the dance crew rankings.
Alfonso does?
Yeah.
Is it like just him by himself?
Yeah.
How do you think it would?
The dance crew #1 rank, Alfonso.
Well, they call him Team Bravo, even though he's one person.
Okay.
How would you feel if you got a job and you were fired the first day by your boss, and then the boss literally like has the same superpower as you and fucking beats your ass, and then upstages you in your favorite hobby?
That would be so awful.
That would suck. Also, I feel like they missed an opportunity. Why is Alfonso in Team Bravo? Why isn't he in Team Alpha?
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That would have been better. But yeah, so okay, now
Yeah.
Sid, Ryoma, and Tora here are all in this like office talking to each other. And they're planning something, but you're not sure what. And then a giant television screen that has like a hologram of DJ Sagra appears, and DJ Sagra is like, so how's the plan going, boys? And they're like, what the? And they're like, oh shit, he's here. And then they're all like sussed out, and they're like, oh well, like this and this is happening. We've given out all 6 belts now, and he's like, yeah, I noticed. How the fuck did Alfonso get a belt? You're like talking about that, and then all that's happening. And what eventually happens is he's like, "Well, you better get to work, boys. I expect a lot from you."
Wait, so the DJ dude is like, they're like fucking talking to like the emperor or something from like Star Wars, you know? What the like fuck? Talking to the boss man.
Sounds
or something.
like it.
Like, what the fuck?
Okay, now the next episode, what you need to know is they beat up Alfonso. Because Michi is chilling with his brother, and he finds out that his brother is in charge of, has been staging most of this dance crew battle thing. By the way, why the fuck did they choose the dance crew thing as the proving ground to become? We'll talk about that.
It makes sense. They got to have something that people are gonna do. You can't be like,
I guess
you can't be like, fuck. We need good fighters. Hey everyone, all your kids, we want them
to fight,
attacking each other. like I don't know.
But yeah, so what happens now is that Michi is watching his brother plan all this. His brother leaves, and Michi goes into the room and gets in his briefcase and steals a watermelon lock. Now, the watermelon one is a little different than the others because it basically summons a mech suit.
Yo, dude, I knew I was in the right all along. So I picked watermelon like because I knew this was gonna happen.
The watermelon one is crazy.
Because this is my power.
So he puts the watermelon thing on, and he gets this like big mech suit with a giant like 2-sided glaive, and then just slices Alfonso in half and just fucks him up.
But he slices Alfonso in half.
Well, that doesn't mean Alfonso got sliced in half. It means that's what it looked like.
That means
it's completely fine.
It shows that, and then you see like a little poof of smoke.
And then he's out
so
of
it's
his
like so he kills Alfonso, but like he didn't actually kill him. It just looked like he killed him, but he's good.
Oh yeah. So
that makes sense.
Now what happens is Michi, having stolen this lock from his brother's like, hey, I just wanted you to know there's a thief in our house. One of my things went missing. I just want you to know, Michi, if you know who did it or if you see them, please let me know. It's very important. And Michi's like, yeah, brother.
Is there any other people in their house other than those two?
Well, their house is part of the company building.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a bunch of people who could have come in, but he's like, please let me know if you figure out who did it.
Okay, now, I was going to say that's a very that's a pointed way of saying, I know you did it.
This seems like a very important story point right here.
Yeah.
Now, as this is happening, Sid comes up to the dance crew's rundown garage, and he's like, yo, what the fuck? Did you take something from him? And he's like, yeah, I did. And he's like, okay. And he's like, but as far as my brother's going to be concerned, I was coerced and threatened by a neighborhood lock dealer. So you don't fucking say anything. And he's like,
bro, he's constantly shitting on Sid. Like,
he has like not been that like devilish to anyone else except for Sid.
Okay,
it's pretty rough.
And by the way, while this all's happening, there's like an opening that appears. Mai goes in, and Kaito had been training in there. And Kaito and Mai have this whole like heart-to-heart thing where she's like upset that she can't use the belt, and Kaito's like, and don't worry about it. I used to be weak too. And then I realized the importance of power. And then she's like, okay.
I mean, didn't you just get it? Didn't you just get it? Like, someone just gave it to you?
Yeah. Don't you worry about that one, Chris. Okay, so monsters appear. They beat them up. Okay. Now, during this part, they leave open a portal. Actually, Michi goes in there too for some reason with Kota. They leave a portal open. Now, while this portal is left open, there's like this whole section where they're like, whoa, we left that portal open, and they're hiding behind this thing because they see these soldiers coming, and so is Tora's there, but he's in the rider form. But Michi at this point realizes for sure that's his brother. Because the R&D department's people in these like hazmat suits come out with flamethrowers and start burning down all the plants that got through the portal, because the plants are growing through the portal into the world because they left it open. Now, While that all's happening, they're like, fuck, why are they doing that? Like, I'm so Michi goes home and he starts like trying to think about what his brother is trying to accomplish here. Then we have the Christmas special. Yes. A very related part of the story. The Christmas special is like 2 full episodes. There's this part here where Kaito, while beating someone up, gets a mango lock, which is like a mace. Huh?
Goat.
Yeah, it is the goat. But he gets this giant mace that just has like mango slices on it at the end of the mace. It's hard to explain that one without showing it to you. But then Michi, in a similar scene here, have this like whole part where they're like, I don't even remember exactly the context here, but they're fighting like just the other crews, people being bitches, and he gets these giant chakrams that are kiwis. And that's the important part about the dance crew here. But what we do need to talk about is Sid and Ryoma, the scientist and Sid, are in this room talking, and they're like, so who do you believe the forest will choose? And this is the first time we hear anything about this. Yeah. And they're just talking about how the forest is going to have to select someone. And that has nothing to do with Christmas.
I was about to say, no, it's like the forest. It's like they're picking a Christmas tree. Like the forest is picking a Christmas tree.
You got to pick a fire
like
Christmas
it's
tree.
Just a person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's onto something. Already. Oh my God, it's small text. Okay. Yeah, so it turns out that the fucking group named after a giant tree who's surveying a forest is fucking evil and is related to the forest. Those shit. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Michi's brother is the bad guy.
Yeah.
No, he was kind of.
I thought Michi was going to be the bad guy.
I thought you said that his name is Tora, right?
It is Tora.
I thought you said he was like part of the squad.
Well, he's one of the main ones.
Oh,
no, he's part of the squad.
He's the good dude. He's the bad dude.
I expected like at one point Michi to kind of like just cut someone's throat.
Yeah, so
I feel like so far Michi's my favorite character for sure.
Yeah.
No, Michi is definitely my favorite character. So they're going through the forest and they're like just kind of vibing.
So who's going through the forest right now?
So the whole group is because they're like
the group as in.
So it's all of the riders are going into. It's like all the dance crews are going in there as part of a competition to look for the locks. This is all like a ruse to basically confuse Kaito and also monitor what's going on in the forest because Michi and Kota want to know what the company is doing. Now, the reason he knows about the company being involved specifically is because Michi told him, because Michi has inside knowledge because he like lives there and his brother's in charge, obviously. When he gets there, Kota steals one of their outfits and comes in and he's looking at this monitor, and it turns out that inside the forest, there's this gate into the office of the R&D department where Ryoma is doing like research and stuff on the plants, as well as some of the locks.
Guy, right?
Yeah, scientist guy. And while all that is happening, he's like, yo, this is fucked up. They've been monitoring everything we do. And Michi, by the way, basically already knew that. He just didn't tell Kota. But because of this happening, there's this like weird part here where they're all fucking like going around and like fighting Tora. Like Tora knows they're in there and he wants them to like leave. So he just starts beating all of them one by one, except for Kota. And Michi is like, I can't let him beat me because if I lose, I'll transform into my normal form and he'll see it's me. Because his brother doesn't know who the person is.
I was about to ask if you could like tell that his bro is just in there.
Yeah, no, because he wouldn't talk whenever Tora was nearby. So he had no idea. So he just like kind of runs away. And while he's chasing him, he fights all the other people. And Kota is just doing like surveying the like research place where they're doing all the research on the plants inside of Helheim, which is what the force is called. While that's happening, Hase goes to fight him and his belt gets destroyed. Now we'll get to why that matters in a second. All this is going on, and Tora and Ryoma are kind of just they're like, we have this under control. We can figure this out. And DJ Sagra is like, really now? You sure?
Here he
Sure, you
comes.
got this figured out.
Here he
Oh, DJ
comes.
Sakura just like materializes in the room. I just want to make that clear. He just like appears in the room. He's like,
I said Michi was my favorite, but I think I have a new favorite.
so DJ Sakura is like, he's kind of like, clock is ticking, do your job, bro. And then they're like kind of fucking freaked out. And while this is happening, Hase appears in the world, and that while they're going around and burning down all the plants, they miss a spot before Hase sees it, and Hase is like, I need my belt back so bad. I'm nothing without my belt. And then he sees one of the fruit, and the thing happens for the first time in 10 episodes where he's like, I want to eat it. So he eats the fruit, and then he turns into a giant monster.
No.
And then he's just going on a rampage and just fucking literally murdering people.
Well, that's cool.
Oh, wait. So is this like murdering or is this like
murder?
It looks like they're murdering?
He is killing people. They are dying.
Okay, that's good.
He is destroying property as well, like often.
Okay, so he's like a kaiju.
Kind of like a little tiny kaiju. He's just going around
What the fuck
destroying.
is that?
Kaiju's like Godzilla, like King Kong kind of stuff.
Oh. Okay.
So he's just going around destroying everything. And the thing with this part is they're like, we just want to like, we just don't want to have to kill him. Because he ate it, there must be something we can do.
What the fuck? He just murdered so many people. Just kill his ass.
So while that's happening, there's this big argument that Sid and Tora are having. And they're like, you know what? Let's just go fucking deal with the dude. We'll make sure we burn all the other plants. Whatever. Michi overhears this, and after they leave, he comes in and he looks at the computer and he's like, I wonder why they're getting rid of all the fruits. Let me look through the files and see if I can see why. So he's looking through the files, and he sees a clip of, and it's basically like an evidence file of what happens if someone eats the fruit, and it's a video of Yuya eating a fruit, and he turned into the monster that Kota sliced in half and killed in the first episode.
Oof.
Yeah. And Kota has no idea that's what happened. But Michi does and doesn't tell him.
Nice.
We'll explain.
I was wondering why we haven't heard of that from that guy in a while.
Yeah, it's because Megator murdered him in cold blood and I had no idea.
Nice.
But while this is happening, Kota is getting his ass beat because he just doesn't want to kill Hase because he believes he can save him. And the Tora, Sid, Ryoma, and a fourth character who suddenly appears, who's just this hot chick named Minato, show up, and they all put on these belts. They put the lock in, and there's like this juicer on the belt that juices the lock and produces this like soda, and it just yells shit like melon energy drink, and then they fucking turn into what are called the Energy Riders, which are these new forms that they have. And they all have bow and arrows, and they pull them out and they just shoot Hase to death in front of Kota, and his body literally fucking explodes. And Kota's like, no! What? I spent all this time trying to save him. Why? And they're like, shut the fuck up, dumbass. You literally couldn't help him.
Does he actually die?
Yeah, he's dead. He's gone.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
If Evangelion could not do that,
Evangelion.
How you literally haven't said it right once.
Neon Genesis, even
Nope.
So, by the way, during this scene,
odd, even, whatever.
during this part, Kaito shows up. Kaito's like, whoa, what's going on here? And so they just kidnap Kota and Kaito. This is all just a plot device to get Kaito there too. They go to this place, and Ryoma explains to them, he's like, so here's what's going on, fellas. So there is this invasive species of plant we're researching that is coming into our world, and we don't know what it's doing. But what I can tell you is none of your goddamn business. And we need y'all to stop fucking with the belts. And we're going to handle everything from now on, because we all have our own better belts now, and y'all two can just fuck off. So he puts them in jail cells, and Kota is like, fuck. I'm in jail.
Well, yeah.
And,
That would be something you would probably say.
and guess who comes to greet Kota in his jail cell?
DJ?
It's DJ Sagra.
Oh my
And
God.
DJ Sagra just comes in, and he doesn't even have a key to the cell. He just opens it and walks in and sits down on Kota's bed. And Kota's, what the fuck's happening?
Dude, this guy like literally has some kind of higher power. Right?
And so he comes in, he's like, so Kota, I think either you or Kaito, one of you two,
You're the one.
you're gonna be chosen.
Yep.
And he's like, what do you fucking mean? And he's like, I really believe in you, fella. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave this for you. It's this white thing he can put on his belt. I'll talk about it in a second. It basically gives him the same effect as the juicing belt.
Okay.
And he's like, I believe in you, Kota. I think you can do this. And he's like, by the way, I'm just going to leave this unlocked and walk away. So see ya. And then he walks off, and Kota's like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
And then, or actually, no, that's not even what happens. He leaves it unlocked, and then Kota is like still scared. So he closes it. And then Michi comes up and he says, bro, we got to get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? So he opens it up because Michi has the key because he like lives there. He pulls him out. And I guess they just have a universal key for every door. Weird shit. Okay.
Yeah.
So he opens the door, and they're running out. And while this is all happening, they're running away, and Michi has to shoot at this one dude to kill him because Kota and Kaito missed one. He was about to attack him from behind. When he does that, Tora was looking at the cameras, and he's like, that's fucking Michi. This motherfucker stole my goddamn lock. I'm gonna kill this motherfucker.
So he's gonna kill his brother?
No. He's just like really mad. He's not gonna actually kill him, but he's like pretty upset.
So say, bro,
Yeah.
that'd be fucked up.
So he's like, what the fuck? And
Well, no, wait.
Isn't it Ryoma who's
what
his
he
brother?
can?
well, no. Tora and Michi are brothers.
Oh, what I was gonna say, he could like kill him, but he doesn't have to kill him. He
Exactly.
could just
He
kill
just
him.
look like he kills him, and he's fine because
Yeah.
he'll transform back and he's good.
Or he could like break his legs.
I mean, that would help too. That would have a similar functionality.
Just the way you said that, you're like, yeah,
Or
we
he could
could
just like break his legs.
break his legs.
But yeah, so what happens at this last part is Sid starts fighting Kota and Kaito, and he's trying to stop them from leaving, and they basically just neutralize him enough to dip, and that's it. They
Okay,
just
wait, hold
dip.
on. Can you like go back 10 seconds? I was just thinking about breaking people's legs. Can you say that again?
Yeah, so basically in this part, Sid, by the way, well, let me explain who the writers are. So, Ryoma is a lemon.
Okay.
Sid is a cherry. Minato is a peach. By the way, hers is just a lock.
I
with
thought
a heart
she
with it.
couldn't be one.
Minato?
Yeah.
No, Mai
couldn't.
Okay, that's
Minato
interesting.
is this
And
chick.
they all work for the company, right?
Okay.
Yeah, she's a peach. He's a cherry. He's a lemon, and Toro's a melon. Still, he's just a better melon.
Bro, have we
Better melon.
met Zach yet?
We're gonna talk about Zach.
Okay, he's the only one in this picture we haven't talked about, right?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
So Kaito at this point, after there's this part here where they have to fight Sid again, and Sid is weird because he just beefs constantly with people, but it always ends poorly for him. So he starts fighting them, and then Kota uses the attachment he got from DJ Sagra to turn into an energy rider himself, and it's a fusion of the orange and lemon, and he has the sword, but he also has the bow from the lemon, and it's fucking kind of crazy because he can like combine them and like
What
shoot
if?
it.
I love how some of these like make a lot of sense, and then
There's
it's like
Bow and arrow.
What if-
bow and arrow
what if-
lemon.
okay.
What?
So what if like
It doesn't look like a lemon. The bow and arrows for the energy riders all look the same.
so he just got
okay.
the lemon thing, right?
Yeah.
So like what if instead of having the orange originally, he had a lime and then he did the lemon
Ooh.
thing and then he
Now
just
he's Sprite.
transformed into like
Yeah.
a giant fucking Sprite.
That'd be fucking amazing.
And then he just shoots
That's
his
the
bottle
real
cap or something.
juicer
I don't
right
know.
there.
What kind of weapon would a bottle of Sprite have? A lemon lime
Like a
weapon.
bazooka.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, of course, you know.
So they-
one can only assume.
So Kota is there's that side dance crew that originally had the belt Alfonso stole have taken over the garage I don't know why. And I mean, they probably had somewhere they were hanging before this, but they've decided to take the run down shitty garage. They're all sitting in there like, yeah, we're partying. And Kota shows up and he's like, yo, leave. What the fuck? And while that's happening, Michi, his brother, brings him really far into Helheim. And he says, I know you're the third rider, Michi. I need you to look at this with me. And Michi's looking at it. And he's like, and while that's happening, Michi decides to just change sides on his friends.
Wait. So he looked at it.
Yeah,
Which what you said.
We'll talk about it. In a minute.
Okay.
So
does it not show what it is?
No, it doesn't show it yet.
No,
okay.
I mean, it was it.
So he says, I want you to take Kota and Kaito's belts from them, no matter what you have to do. So Michi takes his sister hostage.
What?
He takes the main character's sister hostage.
Oh
no,
dude! I was literally thinking, like, where the fuck is she? Like, he got into jail.
And he says, yeah, bring your belt to us and give it to us, or I'll fucking kill your sister. And
classic Michi moment.
And Kota's like,
Michi.
what the fuck? And so he goes up there and he goes to give the belt off, but Alfonso was the person Michi sent to do it, and Alfonso fucks it up. So Kota ends up being able to beat Alfonso, and then the Peach chick shows up and starts whooping his ass, so he kind of has to run, but he gets away with the belt, and it turns out that they didn't even actually have his sister. It was just like a fake threat, and they still should have been able to do it. Alfonso's a dumbass, but when that happens, there's this whole scene where all the writers are like, okay, guys, come together. We might need to cut this dance crew shit out. I don't think this is really working out anymore. Everyone fucking hates us. It's dangerous so the public is now turning on the dance crews.
Yeah,
because they're like, every bad thing that happens when they're nearby. We want them gone.
Isn't the public like? There's just so many dance crews, right?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of dance crews, but the like really the way older people are, and like the like kids and stuff, and like their parents are like, get rid of these people. These people are dangerous.
That's such an older person thing to do. Cool trends need to stay. Fuck yeah.
Yes, destruction.
Destruction, murder.
Death and sadness.
Dancing.
Sorrow and
It's got-
sadness.
yeah.
Also, sadness and sorrow.
Okay. Now, the cool thing
My
here.
sister. No, she was stolen. I won't give up this belt. This is mine. I'm the orange.
That was a crazy thing. Okay. So because everybody is starting to want to fuck up the dance crews kind of decide to dissolve. Now here's where Zach comes in. So Zach is now in charge basically of the Baron team because Kaito is never there anymore because he seeks power. And he's decided that dancing is beyond the power he can now achieve because he's a rider, which is very fair.
Wait.
Yeah, it is very fair.
Dancing. Wait.
So he's like, I no longer need to like be on top of the dance world. I'm going to be like the strongest
The way you
rider.
said it, or the way I comprehended it, was you saying like he can't dance because dancing is too powerful for him.
That could also be true. He could just be a bad dancer. We never see it happen, I don't think, so it's hard to gauge.
There's no evidence that that's not the case.
Exactly. And so they decide after fighting a monster, which by the way, Zach gets a walnut belt and this giant fist and he just beats the thing up with his hands. And then they're like, let's do one final dance. So this like broken down, fucked up stage in this garage, they're just like all up there with all the dance crews, by the way. And they're all like, yeah. And they're all dancing. And then they never do it again. So there's like 3 dances in the whole show. And the dance crew thing is kind of over for the most part, but they're still like friends with each other and stuff. Also, I forgot to mention, one of their members got fucked up by, whenever Hase was a monster, he like fucked up one of Kota's friends badly and he was like hospitalized. But that's all about done now. Then there's this whole part where Michi is explaining to Kota that he can sneak him into the forest, into the research group, which is a setup so Sid can attack him and take his belt. Now,
No, I'm shaking my head. It's not going to work.
Now, there's like this whole thing where Sid stops it and then they leave. And they're like, dude, we were set up. What the fuck happened? How did they know we were coming? And then DJ Sakura comes up to them and he's like, look, fucking Kota, I need you to man up. You gotta start doing a better job. You're getting fucked up all the time. I'm tired of it.
This dude is literally like fucking God.
You're gonna be chosen, Kota. You or Kaito, one of you two, you're the one. But I need you to fucking step up for me right now, bro. I need you to show me.
Okay. I have to imagine he's doing that because he wants strife between Kota and Kaito, because Kaito is literally sitting here like, I need the power. But he's like, I need this guy who doesn't care about quote unquote the power.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
But yeah, so since Kota is like, okay, you know what? I'll man up. So he goes to fight Tora, and Tora is like there, and Tora's beating his ass every time they fight. But he does a pretty good job because he has an energy power as well. And then Tora's like, you know what? This is kind of fucking pointless. How about this? Let me just show you what's going on. And he's like, okay, let's go. So
That's a very easy solution that I could have done.
By the way, during this time, Ryoma and Minato and Sid brought Kaito in, and they're like, we're going to explain to you what we're doing. And it's very clear that they are not trying to do the same thing Tora is. So Tora brings Kota.
Wait, those are the other people like in
the other energy riders, Minato, Ryoma, and Sid. And then they're telling Kaito what their plan is.
Do we know like who's more aligned with DJ Sagara?
What if DJ Sagara wants to do something else also?
That's pretty fair. He's not really with either.
Okay.
He just needs them to get through the process of giving out the belts and making them and stuff. Now, Tora comes up to him and he brings Kota to a devastated city. And he's like, this is what happened last time the Helheim Forest appeared somewhere. This is an entire civilization that was wiped out overnight. The plants are now coming into our world and are going to be doing the exact same thing. We do know of a way we can stop it, but we're going to need to find something called, basically the idea is he needs to find the specific weak spot in the forest and destroy it. Now, this is partially because of information he was falsely told by the scientist guy. Now, let's cut to the scientist guy explaining this to Kaito. He says to Kaito, we don't give a fuck about saving the planet. Bro, there's this fruit in the middle of the forest, dead ass, called the forbidden fruit.
Dead ass.
If you eat it, you become what's called an overlord.
A dead ass overlord.
And the overlords are basically just gods. They have divine power.
That's DJ.
DJ, yeah. He's definitely one of them.
And as they're in there explaining this to him, Kaito is like, I'm picking up what you're putting down, bro.
He wants that power.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, dude, this is fucked.
And then both are told basically that the Forest of Helheim took over this other place, and the Forest of Helheim now lives in this new place. And what's going to happen is the Forest of Helheim is going to take over Earth, and then it's going to become placed in Earth, and eventually once it absorbs all the nutrients from Earth, it's going to move on to another planet.
Wait, so the main character wasn't told about like the god fruit?
No.
Okay.
Tora doesn't know about the fruit either.
Oh.
He has no idea.
Damn. We got some stuff going on here.
Yeah. And so now that they know this is happening, they know that it's about to invade Earth, but they don't know specifically why yet. But now, a little intermission to do. The Bryce is right. It's about that time. We're going to go back to the normal quiz format, just a simple one today. Pretty quick one. Yeah. What is the main character's base form power?
It's orange.
Yeah, you did it.
Yes,
you got it right. Let's
sir.
go. Woo! Let's fucking go, bro. All right. Question 2. Name each of the main 4 riders' full names. I literally didn't say them, so we're going to give them the point. Congratulations.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Well,
actually,
that's what the streets give you.
Can you do their first names?
Yeah.
You already gave me the point. You can't take it back.
That's fair.
Yeah! He outsmarted you, dude.
Yeah,
That's what the knowledge gets me right
Let's
there.
fucking go, dude. All right. Who is the blonde character that appears before the main
It's
riders?
the one chick. It starts with an M, I think. It's like fucking Maria or something. Or not.
That's wrong.
Bro.
That's wrong.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Bro.
Oh, wait. Never mind.
Bro. It's 3 letters long.
Damn, you hate to see it. Okay.
Well, okay, who is this? Who
It's
was
my.
What?
It's a Maria.
Well, I knew that wasn't it, but like I couldn't remember. I said it was some female character that starts with an M, and then Chris looked like he was fucking like I got it so wrong. I'm like, what?
No, I was like, dude, you're so close, bro.
I can't fucking. You know what?
All right,
Fuck
question
you.
4. What are each of Kota's currently learned forms at this point in the story?
I mean, he's got like the orange armor, right? Mm-hmm. He's got the orange sword. Is that like?
Well, that's part of the orange.
Oh, and he has the lemon thing. Oh fuck, he's another one.
Yes, like
Multiple
he's
more.
multiple more. All right, we're gonna go ahead and say that's wrong. Unless you think you can get it in the next like 10-15 seconds.
Can Chris interject for half a point for me?
Sure.
I don't know all of them. The pineapple flail, the juicer energy.
That's the one.
Okay, the lemon. He has.
Well,
He has
there-
the strawberry throwing stars.
Yeah.
No, I don't know the rest.
Okay, you missed the watermelon.
Oh, dude.
Bruh.
That's
to
your
see it.
favorite,
Oh
Bryce.
my god.
Final question.
Dude.
Who is this?
Oh,
Where did he go last episode? Last podcast? It might have been when he got a little bit hungry. You want to tell me what he did and who this is?
Okay. I think that is the tech man himself, Justin.
Yes. This is the tech guy. And where did he go?
If I can remember correctly, I think he went to the Whataburger drive-thru during the middle of the podcast.
That's correct. So, actually, part of the reason that we chose this location.
It was not correct.
Oh,
What the fuck do you mean?
he went to Whataburger.
I went to the curbside.
Well, shut the fuck up.
It's supposed to eat it, bro. Fuck you.
So, fun fact, part of the reason we chose our new location, this is not true at all. But fun fact, it used to be that the Whataburger was about 0.6 miles from where we lived. It is now, from this location, the 3 closest Whataburgers are 3.1 miles away, 3.3 miles away, and 5.7 miles away, which is an optimal location to stop his bullshit.
yeah.
Because unfortunately, we have to worry about that with our tech guy.
And you know what, tech guy, could you get me some water?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Wait, am I doing the sound pad at any point?
Never mind, tech guy. I got some
I
water.
don't need tech guy. Okay.
Well, I still want to go get some.
Okay. You can go
Well,
get
okay,
some
you
water.
can give me some water.
You're gonna go- All right. Let's move on. By the way, he passed the quiz.
Yes, sir. Woo!
Have I failed yet?
No.
All right, dude. That's a straight dub right there.
Very, very good at this.
Thank you.
So we're going to
My-
start this next part.
Oof, Graham.
Oof.
So there's this part here. Kaito goes to investigate the ruins of the civilization that he heard from Ryoma. And while this is happening, Michi decides to tell Kota what happened to Yuya. However, he lies. He makes up that he just died in the forest, but he doesn't explain to him exactly what happened in the forest. He just tells him that he died there. Now, what's really cool about this, we'll get to later, but the reason Michi did this is because he got salty that his brother trusted Kota enough to tell him. And he's like, why does my brother seem to like Kota? Why does everyone fucking like Kota?
Oh, God.
That's kind of what it's like in his head. And so while this is all happening, Kota is explained, or Sid reveals to Kota when he's fighting him, that the tree. By the way, there's a lot of I keep saying that. There's a lot of times they just fight to pad episodes. It literally doesn't matter.
Yeah, how like many episodes are we?
We're close to halfway done.
Wow.
What?
Okay, this doesn't. The amount we've gone through does not feel like 23 episodes.
Yeah. A lot of it is padding because of the fights.
How are the fights though?
Some of them are okay. A lot of them feel kind of samey eventually, but they're fine. one big thing here with this scene is Sid is explaining to him, so the giant tree, we didn't just build a tree-shaped building for no reason. It's a weapon of mass destruction.
Oh.
The goal of it is because Zawame City is the place where the plants are coming through at in Japan. Our goal is to fucking blow up the city if we ever have no other option. So they're just going to just nuke the city if anything goes wrong. So like if they fail to...
Is that supposed to stop the growth or whatever? Or like what?
Yeah, they want to burn down all the plants and stop the like invasion if they actually have to. But they're trying to find a way to stop it in the first place. Which is funny because he's saying that Tora made this for that reason. But the thing is Tora's...
Oh my God.
Justin.
Justin making it sound like a sea ship real quick. And then he falls on his ass. He's trying to be stealthy the whole time. You'll be able to hear that, obviously, the recording. We know that, and we're watching him because it's so easily heard. And then he just falls right on his ass and looks at us like so scared. Man.
Basically, Kota
Another
gets
event.
really upset, and he actually beats the shit out of Sid finally. And he takes Sid's cherry lock, which is another energy lock he can have that makes him move giga quick speedy. And while this is happening, Kota comes up to Tora and he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? You're gonna nuke the city?" And Tora's like, "Yeah." You're telling me that we should let everyone on Earth die as opposed to an incredibly small section of people just because you like them?
That's fair.
Shut the fuck up.
That's
and
fair.
he's like, "Bro, I would never kill an innocent person." He's like, "Yo, really? Really? Sit the fuck down." So like slams him into a table and he's like, "Watch this fucking video." And he shows them the video of him killing Yuya.
Okay,
and then he realizes
that's not.
And he, okay,
Not
it's,
really
it's a little
the
different. It's a
same.
little different, obviously. And he's like, "That's Yuya?" And he's like, "Yeah, watch this." And he shows him footage of you eating the fruit and turning into the monster he killed. And he's like, why wouldn't Michi tell me that?" And he's like, "I don't fucking know. But the problem is that no matter what you tell me, it's not going to change my mind. We have to fucking, if we got to nuke the place, we got to nuke the place."
I mean, I agree with him that like if they think it's gonna work. Now, I don't know why that would work necessarily. Like if the thing is trying to converge with Earth and it has the power to do that for some reason, like I don't know why nuke is gonna stop it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see the lives of one city outweighing the lives of literally everyone on Earth.
Okay, so now there's like this whole part where Kaito is going into the thing to look at the city more. Kota is with Michi, and Michi basically makes up this really fucked up reason they lied to him about it. He's like, "I thought," like basically like it's like a more elaborate version of "I thought you couldn't handle the truth" kind of thing, you know. And then this next part's so fucking insane. So he gets on top of the building and he's like, "I won't let them kill everyone." And then a fucking army, bro, of people in the acorn guy suit, they made like they mass produced them, I guess, are like on these floating like bikes and are just shooting at him. And then during this scene, before this, DJ Sagra showed up again in the middle of an alleyway and he said, "Look, Kota, I like you, man. I think you're cool. But at this rate, Kaido's going to beat you. Let me give you a little helping hand." So he gave him a lock that's like the orange one, but just even bigger. And he puts it on. I actually need Justin here right now. Very convenient timing from Justin. Can you press button C? So he's going to... That's not what he put. Justin? Button 4 maybe?
Okay.
Okay, so
This is a classic
Wait,
tech guy.
button D?
I pressed D.
Okay, press A. Okay. Oh my god, that was so
Try that one?
loud.
Lock on.
The last one you haven't pressed.
I pressed all four.
No, he pressed all 4.
Justin! Okay, well, never mind. We're not going to hear what that transformation sounds like.
Explain. Can you try to do it?
Yeah.
Well, man, I just remember, I thought it was really good, but I honestly don't remember exactly what it sounds like. I probably couldn't recreate it.
You know, I like that the lock on sounds like the guy who did.
Lock on.
He sounds like the guy who does the monkey ball.
Justin
game.
didn't prepare.
Lock on,
Dude, I fucking one. I mean,
yeah, that's a Justin moment. Oh, come on. Turn that off. Turn that off.
oh my god, it haunts
that
us
off.
even in our dreams.
Bro, get this shit
Where
off.
the fuck is it?
It's over there.
Oh, it's on the thing right there. I
Fucking
see it.
God, Justin.
This is a Justin classic.
Stop.
I like how Justin.
Was that an alarm?
Yeah.
For what? For 11:30?
This man had an alarm set. When we got here, 3 hours ago, people, to start working on
It was
this.
earlier than 3 hours ago.
No, it's 11:30.
Oh,
We
yeah,
got
yeah,
here
you're
at
right.
8. Well, okay, I guess it was more like 2.5 hours ago, but still.
Some amount of time.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Have you ever wanted to make a podcast, but you have no idea where to start? Well, it's your lucky day because this episode of Content Crusaders is sponsored by Anchor. Anchor by Spotify is a free-to-use podcast distribution site that allows its users to distribute their podcasts on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Let me tell you from my own experience, when we first started the Content Crusaders podcast, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. But then I discovered Anchor, and they have made producing our podcast a piece of cake. What I really like about their service is they provide a dashboard containing a ton of useful information about your show, such as podcast performance, gender and age of your listeners, and even the geographic location of your listeners. Shout out to our one listener in Argentina, by the way. If you're currently listening to this, we just want to let you know that we love you. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. And did I mention that Anchor is free? Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
So he puts it on, and what this form does is it has like this. He has a DJ gun.
Yo.
What that means is he's got a gun where he goes like, yo, 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 yo. That's the noises it makes. And then he fires shit out of the gun. And it's actually kind of insane what this looks like. Because he's like, it's basically the orange form, but he has these big flags coming out of his back. They're like war banners. It's really cool. He's just on the tower, just gunning down people. Like, he just doesn't even care.
And
he
he's going, yo, 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 yo.
yeah, with the DJ gun. And then he kills, like, he seemingly just kills all these people inside these fucking
Alright,
suits.
okay.
And then
He's
blows
finally
up
changed his mind.
the weapon. And he's like, ha! Now you can't destroy the city, bitch. Terrible choice, by the way. Okay. Now,
Yeah, wait, so he's saying that, like, he can't let them destroy the
he's gonna
city,
say
but he
that-
just murdered all those people.
evidently, yes.
Dude, what the fuck? You're right.
So now Kaito in the world meets what is called an overlord, as I mentioned, for the first time. This is the one he meets, is this guy right here. We'll talk about all three of these.
Wait,
They're all-
are these like the people that have eaten the fruit or whatever?
Yes. These are overlords. Now, what's important to note here is the overlord in red is the one he fights here. And after fighting him, Kaito's like, I want that. That's crazy. And
God.
so he like really badly wants to become one. Now, the thing that's insane about this next part is there's like this whole situation where they're coming in to like go find the thing, and Kota's there to go find Tora, I believe. And when they come in, Michi actually was with him. Now, during this part, get this shit. They cut to the overlords, and the overlords are basically discussing what they're going to do about the people being able to find them. And DJ Sagura shows up and is like, I see they discovered you. So,
No, my God.
what are you going to do about it?
Holy shit.
And he's like, they're like, well,
bro, this dude is the overlord of the overlords.
so that they're basically just talking to him, and what they're talking about is basically what they're going to do about the fruit, because the fruit is centered around where they're located. Now, you'll get the gist of what's going on with these three characters in a minute, but the red one is subservient to the white one, and the green one is not. But they kind of have to obey him for a reason I'll get to in a second. While this all is happening, Kota comes in and is like, I'm gonna fucking destroy y'all. I won't let you destroy the city. I know I can beat you.
He just like comes into all three of them?
Just the two. Just the ones that were talking to DJ Sakura. Because DJ disappears because as soon as Kota pulls up. And he's like...
Wait, so which two are still left right now?
The red and green one.
Okay.
And they're like, what? You think you're about to beat us? And he's like, I can do it.
New power, bro.
And he gets his ass completely blasted.
Oh,
I mean, it's like the most dominant fight maybe in the entire show. It's
nice.
It's
Damn,
bad.
I thought he was gonna be like yo 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 yo.
He tries to go yo 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 yo, but it does not work.
But then he's like, oh,
And then there's this part where Sakura shows back up to the scientist and he's like, "Are you making any progress on finding the fruit?" Even though he knows where the fruit is, anyways. And he's like, "Look here, Sakura. I know that you're helping Kota. Why are you helping Kota so much? Doesn't that kind of defeat the point of what you're doing?" He's like, you shut the fuck up. I know you're helping Kaito specifically. And then Ryoma has this whole thing where he's like, gets really upset about it, but he just has to ignore it because he couldn't do anything to DJ Sakura anyways. While this is happening, there's this part where Kaito and Kota get together and they're like, we definitely have to figure out a way to beat them. Because if we don't, we're just going to die before we even get to the fruit in the first place. And this is, by the way, the point in time where Kota is kind of getting, like, Kaito hasn't told him about the fruit, but Kota believes he needs to go there to kill them, to stop them from invading. And Kaito wants to go there to get the fruit. Because he knows that they can turn into those things if they got it.
Okay. I want to hear the transformation. Our tech guy is back.
Where is the other recording?
What do you mean?
This recording right here is not there.
Did you hit C?
Yes.
It's
Go
C,
ahead and
bro.
hit C for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already figured that one out.
No, we know none of them
Also,
are what we were
have
looking
you
for.
ever heard the sound?
Yeah, I don't have it on here.
I mean, it was on your phone.
Yeah. It went off.
I don't know what that was about. Why'd it go off?
It was an alarm.
You had an alarm
it
set
could-
for 11:30.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah.
hold on. A lot's going on. I might need to hit stop recording
Why?
so I can put the sound in there.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
we'll
don't
get
worry about
over it. I
Yeah,
guess.
we'll go over it.
No, I mean, I can play it.
Yeah, but I don't want to stop the recording for that.
Yeah, we'll get over it.
I can do it. It'll
Nah.
take like 2 seconds.
Nah. We'll
You-
move
you-
on.
I hit stop recording, change the sound, and then hit start recording again.
If we want to hear it next time, you just don't make a mistake again. That's all.
I mean, I can do it. Like it'll take like 2 seconds.
I mean, I don't see why not.
Why
I
okay,
guess we
okay,
could
yeah,
do it
okay,
if it doesn't
okay.
matter, but
All right.
so
That's pretty cool.
That's what happens when he puts on that form, and then he grabs the gun, and he like moves, and he goes like, yo, 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 yo.
So is he like
Okay, I like
caressing
that.
the side of the gun?
Well, it has like a DJ track on the side of it,
Oh,
so he's like going like,
That's pretty fucking cool.
yeah.
Okay, that made
It's
it
very weird.
You
but
know
it's cool.
what? I know that it was in the past, but I'm glad we listened to that.
But yeah, also there's like this part where Hide, this dude right here, okay, weird side note part. He works for Alfonso now because his crew got dissolved. Because of that, Alfonso
is this like
dresses him
in
up.
the sweet shop.
Yeah, and Alfonso dresses him up like a woman during this part. I don't remember why. I remember it happens, and that's all you need to know. There's like a whole episode about that. Okay. So let's go and move on past that. Now, this is where the overlords become like a pretty big part of the show. Like they're already kind of a part of the show, but they become a lot more important now. There's this like weird romance part with like Kota and Mai. And because that Michi sees it, he decides to attack all his friends by secretly releasing a group of Inves to attack them. because Michi's a really cool guy. That was so weird.
Dude, I don't understand. How do you, when you drink water out of a fucking bottle, how does it just pour out of the bottle like onto you?
Okay, so I'm trying
just,
to
like-
be as silent as possible, and it's kind of fucking up the way I'm drinking.
Which is drink.
Well,
You could
I'm out
definitely,
of
you could
water.
definitely just like funnel it in your mouth with like your mouth open
Here,
and just
I'll
like,
show you how to drink some water. You ready?
dude, Justin, you fucking
Yeah.
gulp that shit.
Ew.
Ew.
Stop.
What's that sound? Cut
That's
that
how
out.
this bitch drinks water.
Cut that out, bro.
Fucking gulper.
This is
man.
the tech guy.
Hello, man. What do you want from me?
So there's this part.
I hate it when he says that.
Okay.
What do you mean?
So there's this whole thing where Kota and Kaito go into the forest with Minato, the peach chick. For some reason, I don't really know why she's there. She sees Kaito fighting the Overlord with Kota, and she's like, dude, he's kind of hot, which is strange because I think she's a lot older than him, but I'm not sure. And so she decides to become his like devoted follower without telling him that, which is weird. Then
Kota's
Kota and
follower?
Kaito's.
Oh, okay.
And then Kota and Kaito, after they get their ass beat again, are like, this isn't working. We need to do this. And then Kota's like, no, we need to do this. So they start having like a big argument. And Kota and Kaito, for the most part, have actually been working together fairly well the whole time. But at this point, they kind of are like, have like a deviation point here and start not getting along anymore. Then the whole Energy Rider group sets up this thing where they're going to like go with Tora to talk to the overlords. They want to just go talk to them. And that's what Kota wants to do. And that's what Tora wants to do. However, they don't actually want to do that. They want to do what Kaito wants to do and kill them and take the fruit. So because of this, when they get there, they just fuck over. They just try to fuck over Tora. So they all just beat the piss out of him. And Tora is almost going to die. And then the white overlord is like, comes in for the first time. He's like, what the fuck are y'all doing? What's going on here? And they're like, what is that guy? So we'll talk about the white guy now. The white overlord had been seen one time before this, kind of yelling at the red overlord because he kept like not managing to kill anyone. The red overlord is a bitch maid. I'll make that clear. And there's also a part around here where Michi meets the green overlord and actually makes an alliance with him, basically to fuck over his own friends. Because he's like, he just wants to fuck Mai so bad it's unreal. But that starts to become not really the reason he's doing it anymore. He just is upset that Tora like thinks he's a little bitch, even though he is a little bitch. While this all is happening in here, the white overlord, as Minato and Sid continue to attack the city, is talking to Tora. And there's this whole part where Sid comes up to the white overlord and the fruit is hanging above the white overlord. And he's like, are you going to try to take it? And Sid's like, yes, I am. And he lifts him up and eliminates him from existence. Sid is dead.
Yo.
There you go. And they're like, and then Tora sees that and he's like, oh God, we're fucked. There's no fucking way we're going to beat that motherfucker.
Did they think
Yeah.
they could? Or did they like not expect him
Well,
to be there?
they didn't
They
realize how broken this dude actually was.
This is where Tora says, okay, it's time to get like political here. We need to talk to this guy.
Yeah.
Bro, how,
So-
how do they think they were gonna like be able to do something about those guys when they have like the power that they want? That they don't have. Like, we need to get this power, so we're like,
well,
busted.
Tora didn't know about that till just now.
But like the other people did, right?
The other people did.
But they're stupid.
They went to like steal it, but they didn't realize something that I'm about to get to. So DJ Sagra shows up and is talking to Tora.
Okay, wait. When he shows up, does he just like appear?
He just appears, yeah.
Okay.
DJ Sagra appears and he's talking to Tora and he says, so Tora, you finally met him, which is Rogero, who is the white guy. The white overlord.
Rogero.
And he's like, so what do you think? And he's like, he's just like in stunned silence. So he just watched Sid get wiped from existence. And he's like, so here's what I'm going to tell you. That guy did something he wasn't supposed to. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, he's supposed to have taken one forbidden fruit, but whenever he found out y'all had one, he took yours too. And he's like, what does that even mean? He's like, well, Tora, you were the chosen one. You were the one who was supposed to get the fruit. The problem being that something went wrong. And because he, the white overlord, took the human's fruit, the one that was designated for the human race, as well. So he has the power of 2 fruits in him as opposed to just one. And he's like, why would he do that? And the Rodro guy is like, well,
he's a dick.
So Rodro was actually not supposed to get his own fruit either. It was actually his wife who was supposed to. But something went wrong, and Rodro was going to have to die. And kind of against his will, she forced the fruit onto him. And he's just had to live for eternity, even though he didn't want to, with his wife not there.
Damn.
And he has a tomb built for her there. And he's like, I'm going to drain your planet of its nutrients and just give it to her dead body so I can bring her back to life.
Okay, so he's still kind of like a dick.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's like the whole point.
I like them. We're getting some Metarex we got some continuity in the way that in the story elements here. Yeah, he's just nodding.
Yes, sir. Also, there's like this cameo episode that doesn't matter where this like weird other Sentai character. It's not a Power Rangers character. It's not like another Kamen Rider. It's just this like weird robot guy who's like a human. I don't even know what it is. It doesn't matter. But I do want to do another Bryce chimes in here so that we can ask Bryce, what's your favorite robot, bro?
Yeah.
And by the way, a robot must mean that they're like fully autonomous.
So like Moby from
like they have to be like able to move and think on their own.
I mean,
that's not a robot. We all know what you're thinking.
I mean, if we're talking about Evangelion, bro, you know,
a robot moves entirely on their own.
I mean, they could,
but they're life forms.
I would say that doesn't count. I was thinking of like non-piloted things.
Okay,
like, just like a robot.
Oh man, I wasn't ready for this. I'm sure I could think of a really good answer if you give me some time, but I'm thinking.
Do you want to call us again in a second?
Well, okay, but the problem with that is that I'm probably be thinking about it and not paying attention to what you're saying. Dude, definitely.
Oh, I have one.
I'm getting on Karen from SpongeBob.
Okay. I'm partial towards Rodney from classic film Robots.
I was gonna say Am from I Have No Mouth, but I Must Scream.
Oh yeah. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Oh yeah, the thing I don't know about.
What is that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's respectable. All right, yeah.
Okay.
I'm a big Karen fan.
All right. So during this whole part where Michi decided to betray the humans, there's this scene where the Red Overlord, all because of Michi, invades Zawame City. So he gets out of the forest of Helheim and comes into their world. Now, Michi is also just letting the green one in to like fuck everyone over because he just wants to do that. But the red one is just going around and mindlessly destroying the city.
Nice.
Like people are dying en masse. And for some reason, there's like this whole scene where Sagara is like, I've had about a fucking enough of you, Rodro, because apparently this is not the first time Rodro has tried to do something like this. So what he says, how about this? I'm going to just stop you from breaking the rules, and I'm going to just take humanity's fruit and just give it to someone. He's like, what do you mean? You can't do that. He just reaches into him and just takes it out. He's like, yeah, I fucking can.
What? Who the fuck is DJ Sagara?
We'll get there. DJ Sagra then leaves and he's like, I can't give all of this to someone, but he was going to split it between Kaito and Kota. The problem being that the Overlord is there, the Red Overlord, and he can't let that one just kill Kota and Kaito. So what he does instead is he splits off a little more of it than he was supposed to and gives it to just Kota in the form of a lock. Now this lock is brown and has all the fruits depicted on it, and he puts it on, and then the lock yells, "Fruits basket!" And then he puts it on, and he gets the access to all of the fruits at one time. And it's extremely broken. Like
that's only like part of the thing too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They're about to come mini overlords, dude.
Yeah. So what happens with this is he literally takes it and he's like, yeah. And he slices twice, and the Red Overlord just evaporates from existence.
Well, wait,
what?
Because
He just has another one of them. He shouldn't die that easily.
I know. Like, the Red Overlord gets actually toasted, dude. It's not even close.
That guy isn't real.
My
Overlord.
guy, Red
He just
Overlord.
He's just a bitch, bro.
Be like Dead Overlord.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Okay. Now, one thing that's kind of insane about the whole part where Sid gets killed is like Michi is essentially the person who sent Sid to do all this. Like, he was the one overseeing all that. So he's already thinking, he's like, bro, I got him. I told him. And then there's like this whole thing where him and Radu, which is the Green Overlord, we'll start calling them by their names now to make this easier.
I feel like I'm not ready for that.
Okay. The Green Overlord and Michi. I mean, I literally wrote down every time green, red, white Overlord on here. It actually is like half the text is just their fucking names written out like that. It's insane. But while all that's happening, Michi and the Overlord come up with this like scheme to take over Zawame. Now, they want to do this because Rajiro has begun the assimilation process with the forest and the real world, which this is the part I don't understand. So, okay, so he comes out and he's like, all right, so they made it seem like, oh, if we just stop Zawame City from spreading it, we can protect the world. What happens instead is Rajiro goes, yeet, and then the plants just spread across the entire planet in like seconds.
Wait, who's Rajiro? That's
the white Overlord. And he's literally like,
dude, I'm telling you.
Okay, the white Overlord is doing all this, and it's literally just killing the population of Earth at an alarming rate. People across the planet are dying very, very, very fast. And they even mention that almost everyone in America has died already.
Oh, well, not okay. Come on.
And there's like this whole part where they're like, bro, what did you fucking see what happened in America? What are we going to do about that? But okay. So they now have all the people hiding underground. Michi, because people that put them underground are from Yggdrasil, goes under there and he says, I have a great idea. How about this? We just reason with the White Overlord. We can get these people, bring them up there, and we'll have them just pump their lifeblood into his wife and try to bring her back. And we'll pretend that's going to work. And then he'll just help us. And the Green Overlord's like, wow, great idea. That's a good idea. Let's do it.
Ultimate talk jutsu.
I like how the Green Overlord's just with him.
Yeah, the Green Overlord and him are like
kind of a home.
Actually fuckers. They're such fuckers, dude. Okay. So there's this whole part now where Michi is he wants what's his name to not like Tora. So he actually had the energy riders. He wants Kota to hate Tora as well. He wants them to think Tora is like a traitor. He takes Tora's lock and puts it on and never speaks when he's using the form. And what he does with this is he beats the fuck out of like Kota's friends as Tora, but he's not actually Tora. It's him. And by the way, his friends means his own friends too. He's just like beating up people he's like friends with. And Kota's like, why would Tora do this? And Tora's not even there. He's still with like the White Overlord, just like almost dead. And eventually Tora at this point is like, I need to go back. Like there's something I have to do. And he's like, okay. So he's going back.
Wait, no. Why did this motherfucker killed so many people all around the world and was like, I'm also not gonna kill like the people from the city for like no good reason.
Well, the people in the city are dying, but like they're just not dead yet. Like the writers have like a specific reason.
He was just like America. I mean, you know what? America's really shown how well they do against disaster. So I just think it's funny. I was like, yeah, you can go back.
But yeah, so now Kota believes that Tora is a fuckhead who's just attacking people for no reason. Kaito also gets attacked by Tora. And Kota's like, yeah, enough is enough, Tora. And while all that's happening, there's this fucked up scene where Minato is like nutting for fucking Kaito for some reason. This character shouldn't even exist. I honestly don't get why she's in the show, but she's here. She wants Kaito to win. She's like really pushing for Kaito to like get the fruit. Even though like Kota already has most of it, but that's neither here nor there. The whole thing that happens next is kind of fucked up. So Michi is like with his friends and he's like, yeah, we're friends. I love you guys. And then a broadcast comes on and the Green Overlord is like, everyone in this city will surrender to me now or we'll kill every one of you. And Kota's like, Michi's like, I gotta go. I'll be right back. So he goes up there and he's like, what the fuck, bro? What the fuck was that? And he's like, look. It's all part of the plan, brother. Trust me. This is going to work just fine. We're not so.
We need people to show the lifeblood. Come on, Michi.
What he does is he fires missiles at everyone in the city. The green guy does. And what's his name shows up and he's the white overlord and he's like, do it now, bro. The green guy does because he's pretending to be like subservient to this white guy. And the white guy is like, all right, fine. So he stops all the missiles right before they're about to hit everyone. And he makes it like clear he's the one who did it. And he comes out like this and he's like, and then the missiles disappear and everyone's just like, what? And then they all are just like, get on their knees and are like, we don't want to die. And they just like start like bowing down to this dude. They're like, fuck, we can't win. So like everyone in this city now is aware that that guy is essentially God and they want nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Smart.
And it's like this whole thing where the green guy did this to be like, haha, they can't fuck with us now. But like, they're not even scared of the green guy at all. They're just scared of the white guy.
No, absolutely not.
Now, while this is starting to like, people are starting to get like really fucked up. And like they're like all afraid and most of them are hiding underground. Like all of Team Gaim and Team Baron that isn't like a few people are like underground hiding. There's this fucking part where Alfonso comes over and he's like, you know, it would be kind of weird, champ, if I tried to stop you from saving the planet. And that's what he does exactly. I just want you to know that happened. And I can't fucking believe how much I hate Alfonso. Now, there's this whole thing where Kaito and Kota start just going around and they're trying to just save people because everyone is just either dying or underground hiding in fear. And Tora sees them and for some reason just follows them like really slowly behind them. And I'm like, what is he doing? Why? And it's not like they don't know who he is, bro. Yeah. And he also has no reason to believe Kota doesn't like him anymore because he doesn't know that he beat up his friends because he didn't do it. Yeah. And he wasn't there. What is going on is there's this whole thing where like Michi takes mine and is like, welcome to my like palace, bitch. And she's like, wow, you're an awful person. I don't like you anymore. And he's like, what? Why? Why don't you like me anymore? And he's like, and she's like, because you suck.
Yeah, you're literally like consorting with gods. You're trying to kill everyone.
And he's like, well, whatever. The city might get destroyed soon. I'm going to leave you with the white overlord. And she said,
why?
What? And he's like, you know, whatever, shut up. And he just brings her with him and he leaves her there and he's like, and the white overlord's like, who the fuck is this? And he's like, yeah, look, it doesn't matter. I need you to watch her. Don't let her die no matter what. You can let anyone else die. I literally don't give a fuck. And he's like, okay. Whatever.
Okay. I love how like these overlords are fucking gods, right? And Michi has just pigeonholed himself to be a glorified fucking like clown for them. Like, why does the white overlord give a fuck about what Michi wants to happen to this girl?
Because he's just the homie.
Yeah, I mean, he like it's kind of like implied that the white overlord doesn't really like to like just like hurt women. Now, you know what's weird about that is that he fucked over most of the planet and killed many women with no remorse. But you know, he didn't do it directly, so it's a little different. You know?
Yeah.
I'm willing to nuke a country, but I'm not going to shoot a woman.
I called him a dick. He's just a dick.
Okay, so there's like this whole scene where Kota and Michi getting like this like fucking like screaming match kind of thing, and Michi's like, "No, you're a bitch, Kota," and like pushes him on the ground. He's like, "I'm better than you in every way," and Kota's like, "What is going on, bro?" Like, I don't, because Kota doesn't know fully yet that Michi's doing all this, which is insane that he hasn't noticed that Michi is doing all this, even though he's being very open about it at this point, essentially. But this kind of gets a little crazier. So there's this whole thing where Michi, Tora comes out and he's like, "Look, I've been following y'all this whole time," which by the way has been a while. Also, this whole like part since the world got fucked up has been like, I think most of the rest of the show takes place in like a day or two, which was not the case up until now. But the overarching plot of the show, I think, takes place. It's got to be like maybe a month. It seems very fast, but Kaito comes in and he starts fighting Michi and the green guy. The green guy is like, doesn't even seem very strong, by the way. He seems like, I think that's why he's like trying to like find some way to fuck over the white dude. I think that's like the whole point. But the green guy is like, "I'm going to fucking kill that Kaito guy. I don't like him." Which
naturally.
Give me 1 second real quick. Yeah. Okay. So there's like this whole section where Kaito gets upset with like Kota, and he's like, "Dude, you need to fucking kill Michi. That dude is no good." And he's like, "But that guy was my friend, bro." And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "The reason this all even happened. Like, what do you mean?"
He shouldn't be your friend anymore, dude.
And then there's this whole section where Michi, in his melon form. By the way, there's a crazy part coming up in a second. But Michi in his melon form is fighting his brother because Tora requested to speak to him. And while that's happening, Kota's fighting the green one. And Kota is like doing fine because the green one is not very powerful compared to the red one. And the green one basically decides to like,
red one got fucked up though.
The red one got fucked up bad, but the green one is like even whacker than that, honestly. And the green one just decides to run partway through. But while Michi is fighting Tora is using his old belt and Michi's using his just better one. And he's just starting to beat him up because Tora is also just still injured the whole time. Fucking tech guy, dude.
I'm sorry.
But while this is what's going on at this point is Michi is like, Tora's like yelling at him and he's like, "I wish you were just like Kota. These people are just manipulating you to do terrible things and you're not even going to get anything out of it." And he's like, "Shut the fuck up," and just like chokes him and throws him in a river and drowns him.
What?
Broder.
So Michi just kills this dude.
He kills his own brother?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Bro,
He's like, "Quit comparing me to Kota," and then fucking just drowns him.
bro,
Damn.
He went from being the favorite to the anti.
Wait, I see that the World Cup episode is coming up.
That's exactly right.
The world is ending.
Yeah, I know. And so there's this whole part where Kaito goes and sleeps on a bench and he has this like hallucinogenic dream sequence where he's like training. He's like, yeah. Also, at some point in here, he got a lemon belt also. That's whatever. He's like, yeah. And he's like dreaming and he's like training and shit. He's like, "Yeah, power." And then he's like, sees these people playing soccer and he goes to play soccer and he's like, "What the fuck? I'm garbage at soccer." And I'm like, "Well, no shit, you never played it."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I needed to seek power. So he decides that the way to do that at this time is to become a really good soccer player. And this is all just in celebration of the World Cup. It literally has nothing to do with what's happening in the show
It's
at
like
all.
a filler.
Yeah, it's literally a filler episode where he just plays soccer with these like random like soccer teams that just come and beef with him for no reason. Like they just called him like, loser. He's like, well, what? I'm not a loser. I'm strong. And they're like, yeah, but not at soccer though. And then he just plays soccer with them for a whole episode.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's
How
kind of
long are the episodes?
like 20 minutes, 23 minutes. Yeah, they're not hour-long episodes.
I was like, Jesus Christ, that sounds lame.
Okay. Now, there's this whole thing here where there's like this big op they're going to do to go into the building of the Yggdrasil Tower and try to take care of everything. Now, Ryoma, the scientist guy, appears in the series again because he's upset that his lab got taken over by Michi and the green guy. So his plan is, I'm going to sneak y'all in on one condition. Y'all give me my fucking lab back and then just leave me alone. Like, I just want to fucking be an evil scientist guy again. And they're like, okay, no problem.
Yeah,
we got you,
like,
bro.
okay, you're nothing compared to a god, whatever.
Okay. Now, as the whole group starts to invade the tower, Michi goes back to see Mai with the white dude, and Mai and the white dude start like talking. The white dude seems kind of chill sometimes, and then he just fucks over most of the planet
he
and kills
seems
all
like
of them.
he's kind of cool, but then he just like murders people.
That's what makes him a dick to me, is that he's literally just chilling here, and Michi is being an actual villain, and then like he's just like kind of like, oh sure, I'll watch over this girl.
So Mai, basically what happens here is Mai is talking to him, and she's like, what is all this even for? And he's like, well, they want the fruit. She's like, well, what the fuck does that mean? And he's like, well, essentially what would happen is if you get the fruit, then you become a controller of fate itself. Like me and the red one and the green one, we all had it. But believe it or not, it's not very dope. It's not super awesome. And honestly, like, I kind of wish it hadn't even happened to me. And she's like, and that's what Koda's gonna have to do if he gets it like DJ Sakura wants. And he's like, yeah, exactly. And she's like, can I just take it? He's like, I mean, I doubt you want that, but sure.
Yeah,
I mean, you could take it if you wanted to. And she's like, takes the remainder of the human one that Sakura didn't take and just puts it in her body. And her body just starts like fucking convulsing. Like shit, her body just like can't take it. And so Michi, while they're getting attacked, comes back to see her, and he sees her having this happen. And he's like, what is going on? And the guy's like, well, she has the fruit in her. And then they have this whole thing where they raid the tower. While that all is happening, it's like weird because Michi is like very little involved in this part, and it's mostly just the green guy. And then Kota is having this whole scene where he's talking to like DJ Sakura again, and the DJ is like, look, I really need you to just fucking kill this white overlord guy. I just found out something he did because he found out that he gave it to Mai. He's like, honestly, I don't know what to do about that yet, but what I do need you to do is to just go kill him. And so
who did he tell this to?
He's telling this to Kota.
Okay.
So while that's happening, okay, well, let's move on to the next line. I'm pretty sure we're past this now. Okay.
Oh,
dude, this last episode, we'll talk about it. Okay.
Is booty.
Yeah, is a booty last episode. But okay, this is not all about the last episode, but
How can you fucking read that?
dude, that's actually
yeah, that's
You need
actually
to full screen that shit.
that's actually fucked up. You know, let's fucking there
nice.
you go. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So basically, the white
episode.
Yeah.
yeah, I misspelled it down there, so I just did it up there too.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, basically Mai is before she took the fruit, she has like this whole thing where she's talking to the white guy, and she's like, so you think your wife would be like cool with this? And he's like, no.
Oh my god.
And then she's like, he's like, honestly, you know what? I appreciate talking to you. And she's like, oh, okay. And then that's when he allows her to take the rest of the human fruit and then sends her back to Zawame. And I don't know why you do that, by the way. That place is a hellhole now, but like he sent her back. It's like way less dangerous, like way more dangerous there than where she was right now, but whatever. Send her to her death fucker. She's a cool person. Okay. And the thing that, okay. There's this whole part where Kota and Kaito come up to the white guy and they're like, we're going to do it. We're going to kill him. They're fighting him, and Kaito gets like, we're talking like he is on the ground, and in the show he is literally drenched in blood. He's getting his ass beat so bad, and he's like, why can't I just can't do anything anymore.
Doesn't have enough power.
He doesn't have enough power. So what happens is Kota is like gonna lose, right? And then the green guy, right before Kota is about to try to attack, stabs his like spear thing he has straight through the white guy. He's like, got him. And then Kota actually does land the attack he wanted to, and he ends up killing the white guy. But the white guy's like, I have like one request, bro. Could you fucking kill that dude? And Kota's like, gladly.
The green guy?
The green guy, yeah. And then Kota's like, yeah, bet.
Yeah, of course.
And so he just massacres the green dude. Like, we're talking like
I feel like
10-0 matchup type shit.
I feel like when he asked him that, Kota would be like, that was naturally what I was going to do next, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that was definitely next part.
After this happens, okay. Kota was like really upset in that scene, by the way. It's like a pretty big scene in the show. Then DJ Sakura comes out after and he's like, there's more to do, Kota. And he says, what do you mean? He says, there are 3 left in this game. You must prove you're the one. Because apparently he still needs someone to have actually earned the fruit. Now, I'm going to interject here on what he's saying. How the fuck has Kota not earned the fruit yet? All I'm saying is I feel like at this point, it should be pretty cut and dry as to who should get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay, I wanted to talk about Kota at this point.
Yeah.
This show, like the way they've treated Kota as a main character is so weird to me because like he doesn't seem like he really wants to be there at any point. And at no point, like, I think only like one time so far, he's really been like, okay, I'm going to do this. Like, he decides himself. It really seems like he's just kind of there, you know?
Yeah,
he's
like
the main character.
Shit just happens to him and he just has to like deal with it. And he gets like dude, a lot of the show, I'm not highlighting this enough. Kota's life in this show is upsetting. Like he is, there's like a bunch of scenes of him like in the corner of rooms, like crying and in tears. And he's like, I don't want to do this anymore, man.
Bro, of course. Like, of course he doesn't. It sounds fucking awful. I would hate to be Kota.
Yeah. And then there's like this whole scene now where Michi comes back to like the thing now that the overlords are dead. He's just looking around. He's like, bro, moment. And then he goes to his friends and they're like, dude, we found Mai on the street somewhere. Look at her. And she's like really, really red, like beet red, and like looks like she's finna die because she has the fruit in her. And he's like, fuck, man, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And he brings her back to Ryoma, who is now in his lab again after the raid. And he's like, please just help her. I need you to help me, man. And he's like, I can try, but like, I don't think it's going to work. And so Ryoma believes that he extracted the forbidden fruit out of her with like a thing he'd been making for the whole show. And it worked. But then the fruit just turns into this astral projection of Mai with the golden hair, which is where she comes from in the beginning of the show. And it's revealed at this time that DJ Sagura knew that was going to happen because he had already been in an eventuality of this same sequence of events that led to a war between the 3 of them, which was in the first episode where Mai's hints that she tried to give them didn't go well. And instead it ended in just the 3 factions of Michi, Kaito, and Kota just fighting until all of them died. But this time, he specifically oriented it where Kota would get this assistant so that just that wouldn't happen because he needed there to be a winner. And then Michi's like,
there to be a winner.
Why?
What?
Why would you do that? And he's like, look, Michi, this is beyond your feeble mind, okay? You cannot understand what I'm trying to do here. My job is hard, okay? And then Michi's like, who are you?
Asking what we've been asking this entire time.
Okay. He leaves.
No, what?
They'll just like fucking snap his finger and just like dip. He's like, all right.
No, I mean, he really just like walks away and then he just disappears.
Oh,
He starts walking off and he's gone.
I would be like, no, fucking stop. Like, listen here, you fucking bitch. You're not even a real DJ.
Also, what's funny is he is a DJ. He's able to do it. He was doing it earlier.
he's like a fake real DJ.
Yeah, no,
He
didn't do that. That was fucking stage. He didn't do that.
Then there's this whole scene where like there's this couple episodes where Michi is starting to hallucinate. Now this has been happening a little bit before, but it really kicks up here. And Tora just keeps appearing and just like berating him and shitting on him. And he's like, yeah, you're a useless motherfucker. I hate you. And he's like, stop. And then he just like starts like having like a mental breakdown in like the lab. And Ryoma's like, what the fuck is happening over there, bro? And Michi like reaches out and he like sees a lock, which it's implied that Sagra left it there for him. And it's just a grape, but it's red. And he puts it in his belt later. In this, so there's a scene where Michi and Kota, he goes to see Kota and he wants to talk to him, and Kota and him are talking about it, and Kota essentially decides that like he thinks Michi was just like misled. He doesn't want to like have to kill Michi, and Michi's like, well, I want to fucking kill you. I'm done with this shit. And then he puts the thing in and it goes, hell fruit. And then it's literally just his same form, but he's red and completely broken. He's
Nice.
like, so Kota though puts on the fruits basket thing for a little bit. And then he's like, you know what, Michi? I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to do it.
You
And
just,
Michi
like, kill me?
is like, okay. And he just beats the piss out of him for like several minutes. It's pretty uncomfortable. He's just beating up Kota. And his brother is in the background. Like, what he's still listening, he's like, you suck. I hate you. You're garbage. And he's just like, shut up. He's just beating up Kota. And then afterwards, Kota's sitting there and I believe in this scene, it's like weird too, the choreography of this scene, because there's like white feathers all over the floor while he's holding Kota's body. And he's like, oh my God, dude. What have I done, bro? And then like Kota is like literally like within like an inch of his life.
How is he not dead?
He doesn't die from this somehow.
But somehow, like,
somehow it's definitely the right word.
Dead as fuck.
And then Michi just like leaves and he's like, fuck, dude, fuck. I shouldn't have done that. and then Michi like goes up to the laboratory and he's just like, it's so weird because there's like this scene that happens next with Kaito where Kaito is going up to the laboratory and he's like, I'm going into Helheim. And they're like, why? And he's like, there's only one thing I can think of left to gain the power I need. And they're like,
the power he needs.
And we're almost like, well, no. And he's like, no, we need to like seal this shit. This shit is dangerous. We're done with this. And he's like, move. And Ryoma won't. So he starts fighting him and Ryoma's about to kill him. And Minato jumps in the way and just gets murked. Like literally just gets murdered by him.
What?
And so
How is Ryoma fighting against?
Well, he has an energy. Kaito only has an energy belt, and so does Ryoma.
Yeah, but he's got power.
But he doesn't have more power than him yet.
What a fucking loser.
Kaito?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this whole scene where Kaito is in the forest and he's like, has this like flashback that he had with Mai earlier where he's like, yeah, when I was a kid, I was a little bitch too, you know? And then she's going around, he's going around, right? And he starts picking up the fruits on the ground. He's like, they turned into monsters, but I won't. And he's just throwing it down Goku style, bro, just munching. And he's going in. And then he turns into this giant monster that looks like an overlord. But they say this like crazy shit where it's like, he should not be able to control it anymore. But DJ Sakura has this whole thing where he's like, no, he's one of the chosen. And then he just turns back into the form after he just murders Ryoma. Like he just kills that dude in cold blood. And then he's like, let's go. I finally have the power.
The power.
Oh my god.
Dude, Kaito is so
I don't
weird,
want Kaito to be a villain is the thing. Like I really like what they've done with Michi. He's a real villain. He's cool. Kaito's just a dude.
Yeah, Kaito at this point is like, he's like, I want the forbidden fruit. Michi's out of because Michi's like just gave it up. He doesn't want anything to do with it anymore. Like he's literally just in a room just being sad. And like he's like, fuck, dude, I fucked up so bad. And then Kaito and Kota are like, DJ Sakura comes up to Kota and he's like, I think the time has come. End this. And Kota's like, I don't really want to do that. Like, I don't really want to kill Kaito. And he's like, well, Kaito's going to come to you if you don't go to him because you have the part of the forbidden fruit that he needs. And he's like, shit, you're right. And so he goes there and he just tries to tell Kaito, he's like, Kaito, just let me have it, bro. Please. I don't want to. Because he doesn't want to give it to Kaito because Kaito's whole thing at this point is he's like, I'm going to become top dog. And the thing is that Kota wants to become like the person at this point just so that he can make it so that this shit just doesn't happen to any other planet. Uh-huh. And what he does is they start like arguing and eventually he's like, I'm just going to have to kill you, bro. Because Kaito's like, but you can't, bro. I'm broken. And then they turn into the Overlord form and then the Fruits Basket form. It actually is like one of the cooler choreographed fights in the whole like Kamen Rider series because it like they fight in like it's like definitely one of the longest ones. But at the end, there's like this scene where he fucking like rips the banana lance out of his hand and just stabs it through his body. But for some reason, when he transforms back, he's still stabbed in the body, which gets us to a whole problem with where was that when he cut a dude in half earlier. And, you know, a whole bunch of other shit. Yeah. But Kaito is like sitting there and he's like, Kaito, why, bro? I didn't want to kill you, dude. Yeah. And he's like, it wasn't meant to be, bro. I'm sorry.
In the end, he didn't have the power.
He didn't have the power. Hey, I think he even literally says something like that, like to Kota, but like in reverse, he's like, but you had the power to kill me or something like that. And then fucking, there's this whole thing where like he's like dying and he like dematerializes and it's like this thing where like Kota's like, fuck, dude, bruh. And DJ Sakura shows up and he's like, yo, you did it. Congratulations. And he's like, awesome, man. So now what? And he's like, well, first off, and he like snaps and Mai appears and she's like, what? And he's like, all right, then there's you. And he like puts the rest of the fruit in him. And then he gets golden hair too. And he has this like weird clothes. Let me actually look this up real quick. Show you what this looks like. But yeah, so the whole thing here is he's like, so now it's up to you two. This is like a weird situation because it's usually only one person, but you get to decide the next move. And Kota and Mai are just sitting there and they're like, fuck, we're like God now. Like, what do we even do with that information? And so what they decide is they're like, you know what? Oh, fuck. How do I undo that?
F11.
Okay. Yeah. So while that's happening, Kota and Mai are like, well, let's just do something where we can prevent the force of Helheim from growing anywhere else where people exist ever again. So they open a crack, which is what those like zipper portals are, to another universe. And they go and they just create the universe. And the implication is they're like the Adam and Eve of an entire new universe. And they just leave. And then Michi and all the others are like, what?
Wait. Doesn't that just mean that they've failed their plan? Because now the Helheim is going to attack them?
No.
Oh, okay.
They bring Helheim with them, like, and go to this new universe.
Yeah,
where
but
it
they
can,
become
like,
the Adam and Eve of it.
Yeah. It's like the whole thing with like the garden and like Adam and Eve
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah. So they go to this new universe where they're going to be like essentially in charge now. Let me see if I can find this. Yeah, here it is. So this is what they look like at the end of the show, and then they create the portal to the
Robot
other
man.
universe, and then fly in, and then they're just gone. And DJ Sagra's like, very interesting. I can't wait to watch, and just goes with them, and then he's gone.
What?
And I know, and I think the implication here is that DJ Sagra is just straight up God, and he's just like fucking with them because he can. 'Cause
Yeah,
he's
he
God.
can give his
Yeah.
own power out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
But
makes sense.
It also seems like the forbidden fruit is just like his powers,
Yeah,
but he's just granting them to other people for his own entertainment. And
that makes sense.
it's fucking crazy. And then after that happens, there's this whole scene where so since this has only been one day, they did like a big search thing underwater, and they found Tora's body underwater. And the second to last episode literally ends with Michi just like shitting on himself, like in the hospital room of his like brother's, just like fucking body, just lifeless body, just sitting there.
Damn.
And that's like how the series ended. And then they made an extra episode, which I like to call the booty last episode. So there's this whole part where fucking like Michi goes to this like pier, and then there's just this chick with another belt they've never had in the show before who shows up, and she's like, I'm evil. And then Michi's like, I'm gonna stop you. And then
He sounds just so fucking defeated. He's like, I don't. Well, I'm evil too.
and then fucking like there's like this whole thing where she's trying to fight him, and then his brother at the very end of the episode wakes up in that episode. But that episode wasn't originally a part of the show.
What?
So like I just treat it like Tora died because they made this episode like later.
Yeah,
And he
so
just
they
came back.
did pull a Neon Genesis.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
With the, like the person not dying. Not like that happens every time in Neon Genesis, but yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the it's a lot like the shadow death at the end of Sonic X, like we covered. Like Shadow dies in the American version, but in the Japanese version, he comes back to life right at the end.
Uh-huh.
I like to just treat it like he didn't come back to life because it has no consequences. Him going back to life, he's just back.
Other
and
than
it's
like ruining the effect that he died.
yeah, because like the scene where he kills him is actually fucked.
Yeah, that was cool.
It's actually
Like,
a fucking crazy scene. He's like, shut up, and he just throws him.
oh, hey, is that
And that is essentially the end of the series. Yeah.
wow? I don't know what to feel.
All right. Well, I didn't make a slide for this the last 3 times, so I didn't do it again.
Okay.
But we move on to our final segment. We'll call it Chris Reviews the Show because we don't have a name for the segment.
Okay.
There you go. Okay.
Okay, so I feel really melancholy right now. Get it?
Melon.
But no, for real. That show, I didn't even watch it, and it made me feel kind of really sad inside.
Also, let me after while you're talking about this, I'm gonna look up a picture of what Michi looked like at the start versus the end.
Okay. I think the like main Michi and Kota just seem like very cool characters. I like them a lot. I think our guy Kaito is lame as fuck.
I feel like he's cooler
in the show.
Explaining how he acts in like a vacuum is a lot less cool than how he acts in the show.
Okay,
but
okay.
I do think Kaito's my least favorite of the 3.
So I like it, but I also have to say, like, I can't put anything as a perfect thing if the like I feel like the best way to watch that show must be to like not watch parts of it. There seems to be so much filler in it, like Christmas.
Dude, he looks so much younger.
Yeah, so this is what he looks like here, and then this is what he looks like by the end of the show.
What the fuck?
Ooh, he looks like a bad boy.
about to say,
He
you
just
got-
went
you
to
got the
Hot
villain
Topic.
transformation.
Yeah, he also gets he also wears a fucking suit for like the second half of the show. It's fucking crazy.
Is that his lock?
Yeah, it's his brother's, the melon.
Okay.
Also, I can't believe I didn't just include pictures of locks. That's crazy. This is what they look like. Also, I want to bring up like something kind of, I guess, worth mentioning. This is kind of what they look like. Also, one thing I think is really funny is there's one lock in particular that doesn't appear in the show that blows my mind, which is an apple. There's no apple, and what's funny about that is the apple is a villain in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, and then the main character beats him because he gets the golden apple.
Okay.
Yeah, I also don't know how it makes any sense that there's a
Yeah,
movie that
like,
takes place after the
Why
show.
would,
I feel like
yeah,
you gotta
why
wa- I
would
feel
the
like you
main
gotta watch
character's a
that.
god?
I feel like you gotta watch it, man.
Watch the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to, you can. I haven't seen any
isn't-
Kamen Rider movies
Isn't
before.
he a god now?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I guess that makes sense that he has the golden apple, but still, he shouldn't. It shouldn't be difficult for him to win.
Exactly. Definitely shouldn't.
I mean, that's another thing, though. I don't know how they beat the white overlord. Other than guilt tripping him, I guess. I guess he was like, God, you know what? I fucking hate this job.
He also gave up the power of the human one to Mai.
I mean, yeah, but he had most of that taken away from him, and he was able to destroy the world very, very quickly.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, the how they beat him is so weird. Like, I definitely didn't think it was gonna happen like that. I thought like DJ was gonna get involved and stop him or something. But
Do you think the show would have been better if they like cut it down? Maybe like,
dude,
10
I
10
said
episodes?
this could be one of the best 26 episode shows ever. But instead, they made it like 50.
yeah,
Partially. Oh, so one thing I do want to mention while we're on the topic, the lock. By the way, the reason they picked locks, is because one, they make great toys to sell. Two, if you open a lock, it looks like a 6 kind of. The reason for this is because they have this like thing going on at this time where they have like these this like theme with the like Neo Heisei, which is like a part of the Kamen Rider like continuity, where like there's this show called Decade where he puts one thing in his belt. There's a show called Double where he puts 2. There's a show called O's where he puts 3. There's one where he puts 4. There's one where a guy gets 1 for each finger. And then when they started the new era of Kamen Rider here, where they had like, so they used to do this thing where every 2 episodes was about the same monster, and they would beat the same monster every 2 episodes. And this is when they started making it just like one continuity instead of having like the 2 episode format kind of thing. And then that's when they shifted from like the 6 things in my belt to like just making things that look like numbers. And that's why it looks like, that's why they picked a lock.
in that case, I mean, I think it's a good first try, because that kind of gives an indication, that this Kamen Rider's been going on for like so long.
So long. Dude.
And
Some of the
so,
old
like,
ones are bleak.
So deciding to like go from a villain of the week kind of thing, well, the villain of the 2 weeks
The
apparently,
villain of the week.
to like an actual story. I mean, they had a compelling story. It definitely is, but
Yeah, I think in this particular one, the fact that they just had to fight every episode almost took away from it at some point. Because I'm like,
it seems like, because it's a very emotional show. And
Yeah.
so like,
especially
what
the second
fuck-
half, it's just like, bruh.
I don't care about fighting in that show unless it's the emotional fights. Those seem to matter, but like if they're just fighting random villains, like it doesn't seem correct for this show.
It seems weird. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Also, this show is by far the most like serious, consequentially speaking, of the entire series. There's not another one where the whole planet is just getting destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's usually contained within the city that they
Are
live
there
in.
others that are that like sad?
Kind of.
Okay.
But not quite like this one. But
All right.
so let's go to the review.
I mean, that was all part of my review. I I'd have to say, you know, I was thinking that they would probably have to take off like 10 episodes, but if you're saying it would go from 47 or whatever it was,
I think they could trim a
26.
That's just because the way they do numbers. I think if you made it like a 35, it'd be pretty good.
Okay. But I feel like it really needs that, and it would be amazing, but I gotta give it like a 65.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay. Oh,
I feel a little better about it. I feel like if I knew what happened in the show, like
More specifically?
without not knowing what happened in the show, you know, like beforehand, I feel like I probably would have watched it. It seemed pretty good.
There a lot of them are really good.
I feel
I
like
enjoyed it.
a lot of those episodes kind of like delayed though, because like he talks about like the like World Cup thing, and that seems
the
like
World Cup episode.
that seems
Well, you just gotta follow the filler list.
yeah, for real. It seems like there would be a
TBH, bro.
filler list
So
here.
actually, there is a cameo episode from another Sentai character in every one of the shows, and most of them it's just a Power Ranger shows up. But
Nice.
in this one, it was like the weird robot.
Yeah. And that one too, like that was right when things were really starting. Like
Yeah.
they just had it
The
when it
World
was like
Cup episode was in the middle of the city just being destroyed.
it's like okay, they're finally introducing the overlords. Now we need to have our tie-in episode that is just a tie-in. And then they're like,
They gotta
okay,
sell
the city is destroyed. Now World Cup. Like and
it's super weird, dude.
it's like weird on so
Also,
many levels.
The whole thing where like Alfonso dresses up Hide as a girl is like a whole episode. Like I'm not kidding. That like takes a full episode out of the show. It's kind of weird.
That's why I'm saying, and like you can say, you know, obviously it had a real ending. I don't know why they put another ending onto it.
Yeah,
But they did.
it's weird. I don't like it.
And it really sounds bad. I like it. I mean, it's really kind of a weird ending anyway, to have it be like just him looking at his brother's dead body. That is weird. Like, but it makes sense. At least it makes sense. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I like that. At least they were willing to end it with them just being sad and upset.
Yeah.
Every other important character is either God now or dead.
Yeah.
And like
I like that ending, honestly.
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
I think it's it's a very interesting ending, but they did fuck that over.
Yeah.
Just the actual last episode.
Yeah, it's like what I do with every episode after episode 23 of Death Note. That shit ain't real, bro.
Okay. Then you know, if the filler stuff didn't exist, I would probably give this like maybe a whole point higher. I don't know, a 70 to 7.5.
Oh, no.
I'm on that 8.
Okay.
All right.
I just think it's kind of like it's pretty over the top and stuff like that, which
Yeah.
I really.
What did you just do?
Justin just fucking ripped ass.
Okay, well that's a good one.
That's a good place
That's a
to
good-
stop for
Yeah.
today, bro.
Okay. Yo,
God.
Okay.
wait. You gotta
What's up?
minimize this real quick.
Minimize this?
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Now you
Now you can end it.
Alrighty.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you, fellas.